Warning. The following content addresses issues of misinformation, misinterpretation of official documents.
Okay, this is gonna piss people off a lot. I'm gonna start this video by saying a few things. I do not like
Becca Scoops.
This video is not going to say anything nice about
her.
It's going to be petty. It's going to be full of anger. Which means, second thing, if you are a fan of her for some reason, despite everything she's done and you think it's worth defending, you might not want to watch this. If you defend her in the comments, more than likely, everyone's going to call you a
psychopath
defender. Just saying. Do subscribe to this channel. Let's get into it. I cannot stand
Becca Scoops'
voice. I think it's irritating. Yeah! If she was a nice person, it probably wouldn't be so irritating. I cannot stand her in general. I think she's a horrendous person. However, I do believe the more people that can call her out and put her out there, the better. This is somebody who doesn't deserve the platform. Nothing to offer this industry other than lazy copies. And I definitely have some thoughts, okay? How are you so dumb that you can't think anyone who supports this bitch is brain dead? Sorry, I have no empathy for you and anything that ever happens to you in your life. This is crazy.
Thank you.
Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. A Reddit post reads, "Unfortunately, we've all been fooled by this content creator and silenced in every group. Feel free to discuss." September 14th, 2025. Another Redditor responds to that post. "Finally, somewhere I can vent! 3 exclamation points. I absolutely can't stand this woman. She's so hateful. Her voice is like nails on a chalkboard. The fact that she has Blue Lives Matter in her bio and the whole hate speech about gay people tells me everything I need to know about this woman. There's a reason that woman hides her face in shame. I would too if I were her. She's also a hypocrite talking about someone else's past when she should be looking inward and fixing her own hateful, broken self." May 17th, 2026. Another Reddit post reads, "To Becca, Annie, and Sugarwoo, etc. You know we are all unwell in some way, but some are just better at hiding it. The mere fact you won't address on your own channel makes me think it was never about the truth for you. Maybe you got caught up in the power over people, the money, or maybe you have always been this way. But you need to own your own. We all need to eat, but not each other. Ride or dies of Becca, you are just a pawn, or maybe you don't care. Either or. Again, we are all unwell and in some ways low IQ, but Becca is in a position of influence, and this is a bad one for those to follow. Dirty mind games behind the scenes. Please stop blaming the messenger or saying Gypsy loves this. Becca, tell the truth to your fans and take accountability. The people that trusted you deserve that."
I'm pretty sure, based on first-hand accounts, that there was some kind of sexual abuse that went on in the Petrie household. I think we've got to look at Dee Dee as a very damaged person.
notifications on. You're not going to want to miss it. Not going to want to miss that at all right? It's going to be a really big deal.
Sockpuppeting refers to the creation of fake online identities used to deceive others, manipulate conversations, or influence public opinion without revealing the true identity of the person behind the account. Sock puppets are online identities that a person creates to disguise their true identity. The term originally referred to a hand puppet made from a sock, but in the digital context, it describes accounts used for deceptive purposes. Sock puppets are often used to sway public opinion, promote specific agendas, or discredit opposing viewpoints. By creating multiple accounts that support a particular stance, the puppeteer can create a false sense of consensus. These identities can be used to spread false information or propaganda, either to advance a specific narrative or to create confusion and distrust within online communities. Sock puppeting is generally frowned upon in many online communities and can lead to bans or other penalties for the user. It raises ethical questions about authenticity and trust in online interactions, as it can distort discussions and manipulate perceptions. In summary, sock puppeting is a deceptive practice that can have significant implications for online discourse, influencing opinions and spreading misinformation while obscuring the true identity of the puppeteer. And that's exactly what Becca Scoops was recently caught doing. Sock puppeting. This isn't just content creator drama or people suddenly waking up one day and deciding they don't like her anymore. This is about fake accounts, doxing, lying, scamming, targeting content creators, trying to get people taken down from platforms, manipulating her audience, controlling the narrative, creating cult-like loyalty around the so-called truth train, and most of all, deception. So before we get into Annie, Sugawoo, Toddie, Case, Morbid, the emails, and all the bullshit that has people furious right now, we need to start with the obvious question. Who really is Becca Scoops? Becca Scoops is Rebecca DeSario, a 60-something-year-old woman from Southern California who presents herself online as a former RN, a researcher, and a wannabe mobster with ties to the mafia. The Becca Scoops everybody knows now, the conductor of the so-called truth train, the messiah of all facts about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, didn't spend most of her life working in true crime. From what she publicly lists about herself, most of her background is in communication, public relations, political writing, public speaking, campaigns, internet radio, and media. So Becca didn't come into this community as someone who doesn't understand how to persuade people. Quite the opposite. According to her own LinkedIn, she describes herself as a consultant in public relations, writing and speaking. She lists experience in political websites, social media strategy, campaign work, volunteer coordination, public speaking, and time-sensitive news writing. She also hosted a political internet radio show called the Fidelis Radio Network, where she focused on politics and interviewed political personalities. Before that, she wrote for conservative political websites, worked on a campaign for someone in the U.S. House of Representatives. She also lists leadership going all the way back to school. Junior class president, student body president, a real who's who in the early politics of life. So this isn't just some quiet little researcher who accidentally fell into YouTube and built an audience based off of her extensive knowledge of the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case and her undeniable appeal. This is someone with an extensive background in public relations, public speaking, and most importantly, persuasion. Just think about how you feel about politicians in general, and that quite literally embodies exactly who Becca Scoops really is. Now, somewhere in that history, there's also nursing. According to her LinkedIn, she attended California State University, Long Beach. Oh, God, why do you have to ruin my town? For registered nursing from 1992 to 1994. And she presents herself as a former RN. So when she's getting everyone to board the truth train in the Gypsy Rose community, it's not the politics and the public relations background that gets pushed to the front. It's the nurse part, the former RN, the medical background, the part that makes people listen differently in a case built around medical records, alleged medical abuse, doctors, procedures, diagnoses, disabilities, and years of people arguing over what's real and what wasn't. That title gives authority, and Becca knows that, and used it. It makes the audience feel like they're hearing from someone who understands the medical side better than the average person. But a resume isn't proof. A nursing degree from the 90s doesn't make every document breakdown accurate. Political media experience doesn't make someone a truth teller, former RN, researcher, writer, source holder, truth train conductor. That's a very specific image. And that image seemed to work. But when you go back and listen to her old radio show, you can already hear the pattern, the confidence, the urgency, the wake-up tone, the idea that there's some bigger hidden thing happening and most people just don't see it yet. That style didn't start with Gypsy Rose. That style was already there.
There is no such thing as coercion. That is a satanic lie that the enemy, that Satan uses to convict you, that you have to bend your knee to certain things in life. You have to pay taxes, and you have to pay for abortion, and you have to pay for contraception.
Right? Right? And as she's going to outline as this goes on. Now, let me just say this personally. It is a hard decision. And after you listen to this whole program, I hope you will reflect and tuck it away in your brain somewhere. Because I think maybe Ms. Barnhart is the first of a long line of people that maybe you and me at some point in this country, God forbid, I don't want that to happen. But if it's going to come down to bowing and rejecting Christ, rejecting my religion for the Islamic, Marxist regime, I can't do it. And I know you can't either. Okay. She's at that point. All right. And it has to do, and she's got a great argument here, and it has to do with taxes and the abortions that we're going to be paying for Barack and his people, his minions.
All right. And I'm Rebecca DeSerio, and I'm back from our break. Thank you for joining me this evening. All right. We're going to go off on another little tangent here because I hate this woman. And I've heard her show is canceled, yet she still is airing shows. That is right. I don't know her whole name. It's Melissa something Perry. Okay. She's over at our favorite station, our favorite channel, MSNBC. They've got all the facts over there, don't they? Oh, yeah. Anyways, over this Thanksgiving holiday, Melissa wanted to expound on what it meant to her, a family. Just what is a family? And she wanted to talk about Jesus, and she wanted to talk about Mary, and didn't want to really talk about it in the way that I really think she should. But anyways, let's listen. Just a little take here of her. I know you're going crazy. Sit down. Go ahead. Get out your bourbon, whatever you need to do. Whenever I play these people, I know, but somebody's got to do it. So here she is.
Family is a small but powerful word that defines an increasingly diverse array of relationships and situations. As a culture, our definition of family has gone through an evolution, albeit a sometimes slow and painful one. So be careful about romanticizing that 1950s Leave It to Beaver family.
Oh, no.
There are families that consist of one man and one woman who are happily married to each other, who have never been married to anyone else, and who are rearing only their biological children, born without any reproductive technology and born after the two adults are legally married.
And that's a shame
for
her.
Family.
Yeah,
but
sure.
There are many, many other fantastically loving, wonderful, creative, fulfilling, and healthy ways to make families.
Okay, I can't listen to her anymore. Okay, I can't. That's it. Stop it. Why is it that we're always equating this to the civil rights thing? Why? I don't like to get too much into talking like ad nauseum about the gay community. I have friends that are gay, okay? And they know what I believe. They know how I believe and what I believe. And they know I'm a good person. I'm not a hater, okay? I am not a hater. And I shouldn't have to say that anymore, but I do. But excuse me. Did you get the air of her flippancy there when she talked about the 1950s family? I mean, how outdated is that Ozzie and Harriet thing? I mean, she's like, okay, there's some families where there's like a mom and a dad and their biological children, but okay, come on, get over it already. Move on. It's 2012. I'm just tired of that. I'm just, after the election, I'm just done with being. I wasn't politically correct before, but I don't care anymore. I'm out there now, I'm tired of the whole gay rights thing, how they're in our face. Okay? I don't get it. They can have civil unions. They have that, but then she goes on to say this, and I had to cut her off because I can't hear her mouth anymore. She goes on to say and talks about the altar, about how they should be allowed to get married at the altar. Well, what altar is that? Are you talking about the altar in my Catholic church? Because if you are, Melissa Perry, whatever your name is, that's not going to happen. You're infringing on my religious beliefs. You're trying to bring in your religious beliefs into my religion, and you're trying to make it a law. And I'm tired of it. Is nothing sacred? No, nothing is sacred. Nothing. And if you don't believe like they believe, then you're a hater. You hate gay people. I don't hate anybody. I hate this woman. I hate this woman. I hate this woman. And I'm sick of that woman. I hope she is canceled. Can you believe she's got like a real life like TV gig? Just done with it. Done with it. Not everybody's a hater that believes in their religion, that has a faith in God and believes certain people should be married and certain other people should not be. That's not allowed. And if that means that I'm a hater, then I'm a hater. You all know me. You know what a hater I am. I hate this woman. I hate this woman. I hate this woman. It just, I'm tired of that. And I even know a few gay people. I mean, I was a nurse. I knew a lot of gay guys. They were nurses. They're good people. Could call them friends. They know what I think. They know I'm for real. They know I'm not a hater. And some of them were cool with it, and some of them weren't. And that's fine. But that doesn't mean you have to keep calling us, these names. But that's how they do their deal. That's how the left is. It's how they've always been, and that's just the way it is. And I accept it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm not.
On Fidelis Radio, she talked about politics, Benghazi, anti-gay advocacy, the media, religion, marriage, government control, and all of it had the same kind of rhythm. There's a hidden truth. Other people are lying to you. The media isn't telling you the full story. You need to look into this. You need to pay attention. Different topic, same structure. Becca's public background explains a lot about how she presents information now. She knows how to package a message, sound confident, and how to talk like she sees what everyone else is missing. So when she comes into the Gypsy Rose space, she uses her background in political public relations and campaigning to brand her following the Truth Train. That wasn't just a cute little nickname. That was intentional branding. That was a way to make people feel like there was one train, one direction, one truth, and one person driving it. If Becca is the Truth Train, then what does that make everyone else? Either you're on the train or you're against the truth. She turned watching a YouTube channel into taking a side and into loyalty. She makes disagreement feel like betrayal. And before you realize what was happening, you weren't just watching content anymore. You were part of something. But is it a community or is it a cult? Because all that I just mentioned is also how cults begin. The audience is slowly trained to see one creator as the person with the truth and everyone else as confused, compromised, jealous, dishonest, or too stupid to understand. The word sources also becomes a part of her performance because most of the time her audience never actually sees a source. They hear Becca say she has a source, but a real source is something you can verify, like names, dates, and full emails with context, something. But Becca would give people pieces, a vague screenshot, a cropped message, saying things like, someone told me, I can't say who, you'll understand later, and then her audience is supposed to treat that like evidence. When the conductor says she has sources, I guess that's good enough for the people on board, but that's not research or evidence. That's just trust. That's exactly how cult-like behavior works. The audience isn't given enough to verify the claim. They're trained to trust the person making it. And when you combine that with the Truth Train branding, it gets even worse because now Becca isn't saying, here's my opinion. She's saying, this is the truth. She isn't asking people to watch. She's asking them to get on board. That is power. And the scary part is she didn't have to force anyone to give it to her. She just had to make people believe that trusting her meant they were getting closer to the truth. Once a creator convinces people that loyalty to them equals loyalty to the truth, you're not just watching commentary anymore. You're watching the beginning of a high-control audience dynamic. Becca didn't emerge in a vacuum. Before she became one of the more prominent voices in this community, other creators were already deeply covering Gypsy's case. One of them was Flawless Nina. Nina had an established audience. She was producing detailed breakdowns, and people were actively engaging with her content.
Grab a snack, grab some tea, and grab some holy water, because why is Gypsy Rose Blanchard just being featured in a yearbook? I'm not joking. Like, there's literally a section called the Gypsy Files talking about Gypsy talk and the FOIA videos and the internet chaos surrounding her. Baby, this woman has officially crossed over from a true crime case to an internet folklore. The article literally talks about how the FOIA videos opened up the floodgates online and made people start questioning the narrative even more. And the craziest part They included memes. Yes, memes in the yearbook. Imagine being a parent, flipping through your child's yearbook and suddenly seeing the Gypsy files. That is absolutely insane. Y'all stay tuned, stay seated, and stay ready because the tea pouring never stops.
According to multiple members of the community, Nina also helped amplify Becca's platform, directing viewers to her channel, encouraging people to watch her content, and effectively introducing her to an audience that was already invested in the case. That context matters. When someone contributes to your growth, there's a basic professional expectation, acknowledgement, credit, transparency about where your platform gained traction, not the impression that you appeared independently with all the answers. However, it appears that while Becca benefited from Nina's audience and promotion, that support was not clearly or consistently credited. And according to people within the community, the concern extends beyond simple omission. There have been repeated allegations that Becca presented information, ideas, or angles that had already been discussed by other creators, as if they were original to her. Whether or not each individual claim holds up, this moment is important because it establishes an early pattern people point to. Someone contributes to Becca's rise. Becca benefits from that contribution. Over time, the origin of that support becomes unclear, minimized, or disputed. And eventually, the person who helped is sidelined, sometimes even reframed as the problem. That pattern becomes more significant when you look at later situations, like what happened with Into the Weeds. They obtained FOIA records. They invested their own time and money, organized the documents, and made them publicly accessible. They also published material that many now consider some of the most impactful evidence in the case. Those records then became a foundation for widespread content across the community, including videos produced by Becca. So the situation with Nina isn't just a side note. It may be an early indicator of a broader issue. Becca didn't build her platform in isolation. She built it within an existing ecosystem of creators who were already researching, sourcing, and sharing information. The real question is not whether she succeeded. It's how she handled the contributions of the people who helped make that success possible. Flawless Nina was one of the biggest creators who covered Gypsy extensively before Becca had a name in this space. Nina was doing a lot of coverage and had a very large following. Nina started promoting Becca and sending her large audience over to Becca's channel. So then Becca's channel really got big. She benefited from Nina's audience, Nina's promotion, and possibly Nina's work, without ever really acknowledging what Nina did for her growth. And Nina isn't the only person who helped Becca grow. I've heard Morbid, Toddie, and Starlight also contributed to the success of Becca's channel, but I've also never heard Becca mention any of those people either. Quite the opposite. And that became a bad habit, and Becca was addicted. Someone helps Becca, Becca benefits. Period. Wash, rinse, repeat. Then later, those people not only aren't given any credit, but they become inconvenient or pushed aside. That's where this whole truth train thing starts to feel less like a community and more like a brand. And Becca is the conductor. Everyone else is either on board, useful, or in the way. After Becca had the image, the background, and the audience, the next thing she used to build authority was her sources. Becca's style depends on people believing she knows something they don't. She makes people believe she has secret sources working for her behind the scenes and fascinating information she can't fully show yet. Something's always coming, so make sure you stay tuned. It's going to be a big deal. You're not going to want to miss it. And after a while, the source itself almost stops mattering because the audience has already been trained to trust Becca. Becca figured out that she didn't have to prove anything. She only had to make people believe the proof existed somewhere behind the curtain. Once you were on board, Becca saying, "I have a source," became good enough. But to people paying attention or doing their own research, saying you have sources just won't do. I called this out months ago in my video about the way Becca talked about the alleged sexual abuse in the Petrie household. She made a serious claim about alleged sexual abuse that happened to Dee and then treated her audience like the idiots she thinks they are and expected everyone to be on board. But some of her audience wasn't buying it, including me. I was just one of many people who were upset about Becca making such serious claims about a dead woman who can't speak up for herself and emailed her asking for proof. She gave a vague email snippet, framed it like a private email from one of her secret sources that she can't disclose, and then expected people to trust her interpretation of it. But the email snippet didn't prove anything. It didn't give enough context for the audience to know what was being talked about, who was involved, what happened, or how it supported the claim she was making. It created suspicion and left the audience to fill in the blanks. But the supposed piece of evidence she showed didn't prove what she was implying, and if you're going to imply something that serious, your audience deserves more than a tiny piece of something they can't verify. A real source gives people something they can check, but Becca's version of sourcing is usually more like, I have something, I can't show you all of it, but trust me, this matters. The audience thinks they're following the truth, but what they're actually following is Becca's version of whatever she says is behind the curtain. That's why the truth train framing matters so much. Once people believe they're on the truth side, vague claims start looking like clues. A cropped screenshot starts looking like a receipt. A source told to me starts sounding like proof, and anyone asking for more information starts looking like they're trying to derail the truth. That's the cult-like creator behavior. She doesn't have to prove every claim. She just has to convince you that the proof exists somewhere, and if she can't show it yet, there must be a good reason. That's what keeps people locked in, waiting for the next live, the next upload, document, or big reveal. It also keeps Becca in control, because if you never get the full reveal, you can't fully question it. You can only wait for her to tell you what it means. That is exactly the behavior I have a problem with. Research says, here's the information, here's where it came from, here's what it proves, here's what it doesn't prove. Becca's version is, I have information, I know what it means, trust me. And that's where people get manipulated without realizing it. They think they're defending facts, but they're really defending Becca's framing of facts. And this is why people are upset now, because they're realizing that a lot of what they thought was evidence may have just been Becca's interpretation and Becca's version of the truth. All right, so at this point, I think it's only fair to show you exactly what's been going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to share the emails and screenshots that have been circulating. This is material that's gotten a lot of people upset and raised a lot of questions. I don't know the details about everything, but I'll show you what has been released to the public. If you know who any of these people are, it will make a lot of sense to you. If you're like me, you may not know the people whose names are mentioned, and that's okay. The main thing is that what I'm going to read to you will reveal a side, many sides, of Becca that you may find hard to swallow. It's a big window looking into who Becca really is behind the train. Okay, so now I'm just going to read the evidence that's come out against Becca. Whether I understand it or not, some of it I do, some of it explains itself, but I also want to apologize ahead of time. I'm not apologizing for Becca. Everything I say that I read, these are all Becca's own words. This is purely just so you can see what kind of a person Becca really is and what she's been doing for the past couple of years, okay? But I do feel so bad saying these things. Like, I feel bad having these words coming out of my mouth because she says horrifying things about people, and especially to Into the Weeds. I have so much respect for Into the Weeds, and I truly adore them, and Alora knows how I feel about them. She and I have spoken, and she knows how much respect I have for them and how much I adore them. So I just feel awful, like the things I'm going to be saying, but I didn't say them. These are all Becca's words. This is straight from Becca's mouth. These are Becca's emails. This is Becca's sock puppeting as Annie and as Shugawoo90. So we're going to start out with the messages from last year from Becca to Shena. If you don't know who Shena is, I don't really know who Shena is, but I think Shena is on Gypsy's team. So Shena's pro-Gypsy. Becca's allegedly anti-Gypsy, although I really don't think she is. I think she's just pro-Becca. So there's that. So we're going to start with the messages that she sent sock puppeting as Shugawoo90 to Shena last year. So this is a video from Sir Morbid's account showing all of these emails. What he's showing right here is that the Shugawoo90 account, the main picture for the account is a picture of Keekins. And everyone knows Keekins because she literally uses Keekins to try to gain people's audience retention. Becca knows she's unlikable. So ever since people started being like, oh my God, Keekins, she's like, I got Keekins here with me. If you notice how she does that, there was a certain point in time where she started seeing how much positive attention Keekins gets. So now she literally exploits Keekins. So Keekins is her profile picture for Shugawoo90. Here we go. So Morbid's just showing that that's Keekins. Here's Keekins. blah, blah, blah. It starts out, Sugarwoo90, who is Becca, sends a message to Shena. Wow, how old are you? I want to personally thank you for being such a stupid friend to GRB. Thankfully, that video of her you posted has got mainstream sources interested in why a convicted murderer is making such a video. You just might be the key to exposing all of GRB's lies. Big hugs and kisses. Gracias. Now, as the first piece of evidence that's been revealed, this snippet, if you will, says so much because it's immediately snarky, rude, bitchy, insulting, and then there's a slight change up when it says, thankfully that video of her you posted has got mainstream sources interested in why a convicted murderer is making such a video. So it slightly changes right there, but then what I see is Becca wants to be the only one who's exposing Gypsy. She wants to be the only one. She wants to get all of the credit. Like, that is Becca's main jam. Becca wants all the credit for everything. Even though Into the Weeds put in all their hard work and money into getting FOIA. Like, do you understand how it's not easy to get FOIAs? But if you go into the court transcripts, you can literally see every single person who's ever requested FOIA records and received them. But like, you'll see Dr. Phil in there, you'll see all of the people who have done movies and all the media, and there's really not that many people who've actually requested the FOIA records. But for me, it was really difficult because you don't know how many times I had to resend in forms, rewrite the forms. You have to write details and case numbers, and you have to know who to send you, who you're sending it to, and you have to know what you want exactly. And they're going to keep email, and you have to do all this email correspondence back and forth and back and forth. It's complicated. It's not easy. You have to stay on top of it. It's just a pain in the ass. It's not easy to do. And then it costs money on top of it. But the money is nothing compared to all the bullshit that they put you through to figure out what you need and what you want and who to get it from. And Greene County, thankfully, is one of the easiest places to get FOIA records from. And it was still difficult. Becca, instead of actually just putting in that little bit of effort, I had never done it before. It wasn't easy for me to do, but I did it anyway. And I just recently received my FOIA records. You know, it took a couple of months to get them, but whatever, you know, like it just, I feel good knowing that I got them myself. I paid for them and I got them. I want to have all of this information myself. And yeah, Laura and Amber were nice enough to upload all of their information onto their Google Drive, and you can still, I'm pretty sure, go to their Google Drive through the link, you know, on their bio and upload the case files yourself so you can have them. And so that's very kind that they did that. And that took a lot of effort. They actually had to, like, you know, upload those things and make it available. And they released all this information. But Becca, instead of like just doing that work, like normal content creator shit, normal journalist work and effort, she'd rather go behind people's backs, sock puppet as different people, lie, say she's one person when she's really not, trying to get information maliciously and scandalously. And I just think it's so disturbing. And it's like, if she wants to be the center of attention and she wants to be the one that everyone's saying, oh, thank goodness for Becca Scoops. You know, if it wasn't for Becca Scoops, no one would have all of the truth and the information about Gypsy, which is such malarkey. But if she really wants to be that person, why not just put in some effort and do some actual work? So you can see right here, and I'm going to tell you why I'm breaking this one down a little bit more than I'm going to break down other ones. And it's because there's so much information. There's so much, you can tell so much about her personality in just this one brief message. And the part where she's like, oh, it switches up a little bit where you think she's actually giving a compliment, but I know Becca's mad that this person is the one who is going to potentially be the one to get the credit for exposing Gypsy. Because right there, it goes from the kind of a compliment. Thankfully, that video of her you posted has got mainstream sources interested in why a convicted murderer is making such a video. You might just be the key to exposing all of GRB's lies. And right there, you can see she's so mad that it's going to be her and not Becca. And it's just so gross. And like, you gotta love to see it. I do. And then big hugs and kisses. Gracias. Anyway, I'd submitted this message to ChatGPT or to Microsoft 365 or whatever, and they called it out exactly how I saw it. You know, it's just so obvious. It's just a snarky, rude bitch with ill intentions. A slight change up for a second, but then it goes right back into just being manipulative. It's just a purely derogatory, sick message. So anyway, let's go on. In the last message, Becca had said, how old are you? But she was just being a snarky bitch. And then Shena says, You're welcome, and I'm as old as your cat. I have keyboard warriors that have something to hide, and I think we know what that is, and that's why you hide behind your cat as your PFP. Shena just saw the video about KC, he's nuts. Now, they're talking about someone named Karma Collector.
If some dude just came on and said you didn't have a baby, you knew you did, you would just write it off as, well, he's just a crazy fuck. That's not what she's doing, you guys, man. And we know that's her. And not to mention, she's going on and on about swearing up, Gypsy doesn't use AI at all. No, that's her one real baby. And she doesn't use other people's babies. And it's her one baby. That's no AI at all. When we know all those pictures that came from that birthday party was an arranged photo shoot and used artificial intelligence to create a whole fucking fake-ass family. And all they did is put the pictures of dipshit and her in there probably, and probably found some stock photo of some kid or one of their friends or who the fuck knows, threw her in the thing and said, all right, make a birthday scene. There you go.
I don't know who Karma Collector is, but apparently Becca hates this person, and she's now going to try to convince Shena to exchange some personal information about Karma Collector, and apparently some information that has nude pictures or nude-esque pictures. I don't know what they are, but in these messages, this is where Becca gets caught calling people sheeple, low IQ, and yada yada. And it starts right here. Becca's saying, Casey's, he's nuts. I'm a content creator. Yes, you've heard of me. Barf. And while we disagree about GRB, I am so done with KC and have been wanting to find a way to discredit him. Obviously, those who buy into his nonsense aren't high IQ, but something like this just might destroy him even with the low IQ folks. Can you please send me the info, pic, whatever, and how we know it's him, etc.? I'll need receipts. I'll need to explain why this is him, etc. It's crazy because she doesn't discuss this on her channel. She doesn't talk about anything but Gypsy and Ryan and Ken, period. So what is she doing? Why is she so gung-ho on taking down Karma Collector? I can't tell you right now how we know him. It's because more will be revealed after the authorities have everything, but trust me, it is him. I want you to understand there's simulated nudity in it. Is that okay? There's so much more to show that he is a sick individual. I need your permission to send the picture. Yes, send. Of course she says yes, send. Can you give me an overall view of how you know it's him? And yes, you can send a pic. You have my permission, and I understand they contain graphic imagery. Well, if you go to the account, it's got his picture and everything, and then they just start, they're just talking about Karma Collector. It's not, to me, it's not important. I don't know what they're talking about. So she sends it. Becca says, got it, thank you. Becca says, oh my God, yeah, this is sick. I'll see what I can do, thanks, with a big heart. Then they just start talking about how they got shit in common. And then she says, let me know if you still watch any. I'm still working something up to expose that idiot, so stay tuned. Talking about Karma Collector. They're talking about shit they have in common. And then Shena says, girl, I found so many more of his charges today, like it's fucking crazy. He's currently on probation and was in prison 3 times for 3 different felonies. He's a thief, man. He steals all the fucking time. There were so many theft charges and credit card theft charges, like it's crazy. This is so weird to me. It's just so... How old are you? What is your point? What is your purpose? This is what you spend your spare time doing. Every once in a while, like, I've become very good friends with one of my audience members, okay? We text each other all the time. I'm not going to say who she is because I know she wouldn't like that. But we text all the time. We're friends. I would consider us friends. And I just truly adore her. We have conversations about things. We talk about stuff all the time. I'm always asking her, like, what should I do a video about? And even when I'm specifically saying, like, what should I do a video about? She's so sweet. She'll, like, make a whole outline of, like, different ideas for me and stuff. She's so cute. And even when we're talking about actual content about real criminals and things like that, you would never catch any of our conversations being disgusting like this. You would just would never. Even when we're talking about actual cases, it's so crazy. Even when she's telling me about something like some drama on TikTok or something that I really need to check out, even then she'll just be like, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this. We don't talk about people like this. Like, these are adult women. Both of these are older women talking about other human beings, other content creators for that matter, in the most wretched way. If they're going to talk about people like this, they're going to talk about anyone like this. That's how I see it. These are just these type of people. You would never catch me dead talking about
people like this. No, I got much better things to do with my fucking free time. Becca says, so you know I'm on the anti-gyp side of the aisle, but find this man repulsive and unhinged. I'm very careful about taking the temperature of the community before I breach a subject. Some subjects aren't as important, but some are like this one, and I am a nonconformist who has to speak my mind and the truth no matter what, even if that gets me backlash and unfollows. I can't pretend to push a narrative. Bitch, I'm flabbergasted this man has so many who are believing his BS, and I truly adore that bullshit and Becca Scoops are the same initials. I just think I'm formulating how to approach this. He needs to be exposed. Exposed as in his crazed ideas about the babies. Sorry, just venting my frustration. Why would that be such a big fucking thing that you need to take the temperature of your audience for? Who cares? He's not the only one. Your butt buddy Case is on a whole campaign right now about how he thinks that Gypsy's baby isn't real. You guys are fucking psychotic. You guys are out of your fucking mind. You guys are literal psychopaths. Straight up. You guys are fucking psychopaths. Gypsy doesn't have a real baby. Suck a dick. I mean, you all are crazy. You're out of your minds. Sorry, just venting my frustration. I think you'd be surprised to know who I am. I'm Becca Scoops. I'm the queen of fucking bullshit. But thanks for your kindness. It really is appreciated, Shena. You're so welcome. There are times, even though we may be on opposite sides, that the right is right and we have to come together. Do we? Hey, Shena, I tried to send you a message on my backup about Joe. I know you must despise Starlight, but she went over the evidence about Joe in this video, starts at this time, and then she sends a link like she loves to do. She loves to send links with videos to people, trying to convince them about the way she wants you to think about them. She tries to convince people of certain things by showing proof. The only time this bitch ever shows proof of anything is when she's emailing people on Sockpuppeting and pretending to be somebody else. It's the only time this bitch ever shows any fucking proof or shows it has any actual sources is when she's conniving and committing crimes behind the curtain. It's wild. Weird how she can't on her own channel. So she's talking about shit about Starlight, blah, blah, blah. And then Shena defends Gypsy here and says, Gypsy doesn't have a relationship with this guy, she probably hasn't thought of him, and then so whatever he's posting or doing, it doesn't have anything to do with her. Do you understand what I mean? I know a big deal is being made out of him, and that's okay if he's doing something wrong, but it's not Gypsy's problem. Oh, now it's okay if he's doing something wrong? These fucking bitches. It's just another attempt to have something to talk about, something else will happen, and this will be dead in the dirt, and nobody will even care in a couple of weeks. And I think Morbid highlighted that because it's not dead in the dirt. Shena, I'm disgusted by... Okay, this is where these are not my words. This is Becca, okay? This is Becca. These are Becca's words. This is who Becca truly is. This is how she talks when nobody's looking. And actually, now that I say that out loud, that has actually been one of my most favorite mantras because it truly is the honest truth. But I've always said what truly defines a person's character is what that person is doing when nobody is watching them. Whatever you do when nobody is looking, whatever kind of a person you are when you don't think anyone's watching, that is what truly defines your real character. And this is truly defining Becca's true character because she thinks she's being so clever and sock puppeting and whatever the fuck she thinks she's doing. So I'm just letting you know right now, the things I'm getting ready to say are just Becca's words. I don't feel this way. I don't think this way. I am just reading something on my screen. So here we go. Shena, I am disgusted by Into the Weeds, and I thought I'd let you know some things about them. Why? Why? Why do you think someone else wants to bear the weight of your negative thinking, shit talking ass mouth? Thoughts, narrative, perspective, opinion. Who gives a fuck? You know what you need? A diary. Dear diary. This is how I think about Into the Weeds. That's what you need. You need a big fat fucking diary. Straight up. You need a diary. And I feel so bad for your husband because good Lord, if you talk to him the way you're talking in these emails, I don't know how he's still alive. You must be paying all the bills or something because boy, I wouldn't make it. Anyway, and I thought I'd let you know some things about them. First, Amber crowdfunded over $1,000 to get the FOIAs. But she got them. Many, many people donated, yet she refuses to put them out on a Google Drive. Instead, she's gatekeeping them for clicks and money. They are not her property. I beg your pardon? See this right here? This is the FOIA records that I purchased after putting in weeks of hard work and many forms, filling out many forms, having many email correspondences with many records clerks. This is mine. This is my property. I bought it. I did the hard work to get it. This is Gypsy Rose case files and Nick Godejohn case files. That is my property. Yes, it is her fucking property. 100%. It can be yours if you do the hard work, submit the record requests, pay the money, then it's yours. What do you mean that's not your property? Woo! And were you one of the people who crowdfunded it? I bet you weren't. So you don't even have a right to even speak like that anyway. If there are people who are upset about the fact that they are not releasing only things that are too inappropriate to show on YouTube, which is exactly all they did. There was things that they received in their FOIA records that included nudity that they probably weren't even supposed to receive. And they tried to send that stuff back to Greene County because they didn't want to have the burden of owning it. It wasn't right. They probably were not supposed to receive it. So they are good people. They did the right thing. They are respectable, honorable people with integrity. So they tried to send it back, and I don't think that if I can guess, those people didn't even respond or care that they don't want that shit back. They already got copies of it, you know what I mean? But they have integrity, so they let them know, hey, just letting you know, you sent this to us. They just don't want to be liable. And your creepy ass wants those nude videos of Gypsy. And so you're mad that you don't have the wherewithal or the intelligence enough to know how to obtain FOIA records yourself, or apparently the money. But I bet you anything, you make enough money during one of your live chats with super chats, you can buy these FOIAs and go buy them yourself, you stupid. God, yep, we're at that point. We're at that point. Instead, she's gatekeeping them for clicks and money. They are not her property. And I think the angle here for you guys is she is just a money-hungry content creator who took in donations, but she is the one who is profiting. She is making same lame excuse. I'm just going to read it the way she says it because she's a fucking moron. She is making same lame excuse why she needs to be the one to vet the videos. Yes, she does. Because it's her responsibility. It's her channel. It's her responsibility what goes out. That's being a responsible human being. When you choose not to show people inappropriate things and just throw nude videos out of Gypsy Rose all willy-nilly and either get your channel banned or just what kind of a person, she's not going to do that. You're disgusting, Becca. You're sick. And the fact that you talk this much shit about a person whose channel is based off of it's a military broadcast radio station that she does for cognitive therapy, you stupid fucking bitch. You're too busy fucking drowning in your box of box wine to even fucking grasp reality and get a fucking clue. You need a diary and a clue, you stupid. Because she'll be liable. Yeah, that's 100%. You actually said something fucking smart right there. That's crazy. Oh no, the sheriff department would be liable. So a bogus ass argument. You're so desperate. You're so ugly and desperate. Why don't you try? Hey, Amber and Alora, can I maybe buy those videos from you? Or if I promise not to show them to anyone, can I see them? But the thing is you wouldn't be able to keep your promise, would ya? No, because you want them so that you can have content on your channel that everyone goes, oh, Becca Scoops is the GOAT. Oh my God, did you see what Becca Scoops did? Becca Scoops just wants all the credit. All of it. All the credit. She wants to be the one that's like, oh yeah, Into the Weeds put out the FOIA records, but did you see what Becca Scoops put out? They should make that docuseries about you. I think it would be much more interesting. Just a thought. By the way, that reminds me, I have a message for all of these stragglers. So for anyone who's here because the truth train derailed recently and you fell off of it and you've gotten lost and you've meandered your way over to my channel, first of all, I welcome you. I do welcome you, but I you know I already don't kind of like you, okay? So for those of you who have fallen off the truth train after it's recently been derailed and have gotten lost and meandered over here, I have a message for you at the end of this video. So if you can bear to listen to your queen, be exposed for who she really is, and you be here all the way to the end of the video, I have a very, very important message for you. I don't feel like it's right to say it right now because it has nothing to do with Becca Scoops. It has everything to do with me and who I am and who you don't think I am. And so it'll be very special, I promise you. It's very positive. It's a very positive message. I try to only be positive. I promise. Promise it's positive. Okay, so she's a bitch. Yada yada. If she would be pressurized to put them on a Google Drive, the hype would die down. People would calm down. Her making them exclusive is why these are being so hyped. Bitch, you are the only one who is concerned about those nudies of Gypsy Rose. Just you. I bet you could fill out the records requests and get your own damn nudies of Gypsy Rose since you want them so badly, you sick fuck. The sheriff's department is liable because there was a blah, 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 and they're just having some dumbass conversation about what they believe, and none of it's honest, good, or true. She also claims to be only in it for the truth. Okay, this part really grosses me out. And this part is Becca projecting, because everything Becca says about Amber and Alora here, I think she's mainly talking about Amber. What Becca says right now here about Into the Weeds is literally what Becca is. So pay attention. She also claims to be only in it for the truth, but she cut stuff out of the videos so she could keep them monetized. Right. I mean, what the fuck? So, not so much for truth. I do know, but Shena, this Amber is a real snake. It makes me so sick just to even say that. Amber is the furthest thing from a fucking snake on this platform. I hate reading this. Amber is a real snake. She has no real content. This is it. Have you seen your channel, Becca? Anyway, like I said, this is Becca literally describing herself. She is gatekeeping this because she had nothing else. She took in donations and now is enriching herself. Who said that anyway? I mean, I don't even know if that's true. First of all, who gives a shit if it is? Good. I wish I would have gotten donations to get the requests I got. I mean, I didn't buy that many. It didn't cost too much. But shit, I would have liked some donations. I'm telling you, take her out. Why is that, Becca? Because she worked hard, bought records that you don't have, has things you don't have, only posts things on her YouTube channel that are ethically and morally right, that won't get her channel shut down, that won't look like she's an irresponsible creep. It's literally every single thing except for the nudie photos. She only posts appropriate things like a normal person would on their YouTube channel. And she gets monetized from it because she qualifies. That's a lot why most of us are on YouTube, is to be monetized and make money. Shocker. And so you call her a snake and you want Shena because you don't do any work at all. You don't do any research on your own. You don't do shit. You steal shit from other content creators, never giving them any credit, paste it up against your Becca Scoops backdrop, and make it look like you did the work. So you're asking Shena, a person on the opposing side of the team, to take out a respectable, honorable content creator who's blessed our community with these amazing FOIA videos. To be honest, if Into the Weeds had not put those videos out on YouTube, I would not have the platform I have today. I mean, it was Kyla, whose video I saw, who was sharing that content of Into the Weeds. And, she gave the right credit to, because you always let people say they got it from Becca Scoops. And I remember the first time AG ever showed any of this content, and he said he got it from Becca Scoops. And I fucking texted him. I was like, this is not from Becca Scoops. This is from Into the Weeds. And he came correct the next time he made a video about it. Because you want all the credit. I will never give you credit for anything. Except I will give you credit for fucking up your life. You've done a real good job of that. Or at least your reputation. I'm pretty sure you fucked up your life too. And I hate that you're from Long Beach. I hate that you went to Long Beach College. When I read that, I was like, ugh. Made me sick. Anyway, I'm telling you, Take her out. Ask her why she took donations but now isn't delivering to those who donated, which I'm assuming is not you. It's such a bad look, and many people, even anti-Gypsy, are aghast at the way they sat up there laughing. These aren't funny videos to be snarked on. They aren't! I mean, do I even need to comment? Do I even need to make the commentary, Becca? I'm pretty sure your channel's turned into Justice for Ryan, by the way, because all you do is sit up there and talk shit about talking shit about talking shit. Hypocrite. That's why those lyrics are in that fucking song that I made.
Hypocrite. Truth train off the tracks. Truth train full of cat. Talking shit, then talking shit about talking shit. Hypocrite. Botox, filler, lips too big, still look scary. Head still big, bad makeup. Hair need help, can't blame that on no one else. Truth train loud, but it don't bring facts. Just gossip, grift, and recycle chats. Big fake lips and a frozen stare. Still same mess, just extra air. Talk real slick, but you trip on words. Can't get it out, stuttered and slurred. Act so real, act so wise. Whole thing fake, whole thing lies. Truth train off the tracks. Truth train full of cap. Talking shit, then talking shit about talking shit. Hypocrite.
Because that's all you do. You talk shit about people talking shit about talking shit. And then you make it your content. You're like, doesn't this content suck? And then you play it on your channel. Like, you're so lazy. These aren't funny videos to be snarked on, Shena. They are a big deal. I'm trying to help you diffuse this. Oh, isn't she just such the godfather, eh? Don't snark on them. That will backfire. Come at it about the many, many donations they took in. Why don't you? I dare you. And now are enriching themselves. When asked how, you can say, we know Amber also cut parts out from her live so YouTube would monetize it. Like how when you're showing the footage from the Life After Lockup show and you cut things out when you play it during your live stream, sometimes like you don't even really have the balls to play it during your live stream, but you definitely cut it out when you post it on your YouTube. Why? Why do you do that, Becca? Why do you do that? So you can be monetized? Or so you don't get copyright strike and your whole video gets taken down? Because it's the smart thing to do. She could have left the portion in about rape, but chose to cut it out. That's not someone looking to expose the truth. That's someone taking other people's money to enrich themselves. You are so dumb. You're such a dumb fucking bitch. If you were in front of me right now, I would so hard, and I am 5'10". I would step on you like a bug, you are so up in the brain. We are barely even into these messages, and why I have such good intuitions? Because I'm a good person with a clear conscience and I can see and read people because I feel vibes. You're so busy destroying the vibe of your own life and everyone around you, you wouldn't be able to feel a vibe if it came up and kicked you right in the face. You disturb me. You're a gross person. You are garbage. And I hope all of your truth train passengers are watching this right now, so they can finally get a clue. And I'm not mad at them. They're innocent in this. You manipulated them and they believed you and they bought it because I really just don't know how. It took me about 2 minutes of watching you. The very first time I ever watched one of your videos and I was like, ugh, I can't watch this broad. Fucking what's wrong with her? Something's wrong with you. And I saw it immediately. And then I gave you a chance. And I watched your content because other people were like, Becca's the best. And I'm like, oh, really? I guess maybe I missed some. And then I never saw it. But the more I watched, the more I saw why I didn't like you. I started figuring it out. And I realized very quickly, you have ill intentions. Your face is so negative and evil. You know how there's like resting bitch face, right? Okay, and I'm being totally sincere. There's resting bitch face. That's like a phrase for a reason, okay? Resting bitch face, all right? Becca's 60-something years old. If at any moment you were just to screenshot her, if you were just to pause the video, and if you do this with any content creator, and you were just to pause the video at any moment, we're probably making a goofy face, right? But Becca's resting face is quite literally so dark and so evil. I don't even know if I could make that face if I tried. Do you know how old I am? I'm 46. Never had any work done to my face, ever. But I barely have any wrinkles. And if you were to pause my videos at any given moment, I'm not gonna look like a psycho, evil, nasty person, because I believe your face is a mirrored reflection of your soul. So I'm just saying, maybe if you weren't such a bad person, you might not look so ugly. But beauty comes from within, right? Okay. Beauty comes from within. And your face is a reflection of your soul. Bitch. Anyway, I don't know how old I am. Great.
Botox, filler, lips too big, still look scary. Hair still big, bad makeup. Hair need help. Can't blame that.
So now, I guess, Bree has exposed Becca for what Becca had done in the past. It's the reason why she lost her nursing license. It's because she stole a prescription pad and got caught, and Bree is putting it on blast. So after she did that, Becca decides to go on this here's the real story campaign, which if you're not Becca, how would you know all of these crazy details about shit? And then she says, I know you all like to make fun of her, but this news about Bree hit her hard. She said if you do message Shena, tell her I will not speak out about this. And if you ever needed help with Bree, I would be happy to speak with her. I'm sure they don't need my advice, but as someone who understands how Bree will get dragged through the mud now, I am in a unique position to relate. Denial is the final straw before you hit rock bottom. I know it was for me. I know you are honorable, Shena, so please keep this correspondence secret. I hope this knowledge that at least Becca will not take part in the folly making regarding Bree helps her. And so, I mean, I can't even read it. It's so stupid. So now she's pretending to be Becca's friend since high school, which is why she knows all these details. And this is when she starts going on and on about the prescriptions and what really happened and da-da-da-da, or at least the story she's trying to push onto people. The one who she's hoping Shena will tell, even though she's asking Shena not to tell because she's pretending not to be Becca. Do you see how psychotic and pathological and neurotic and disturbing this is? This is who y'all have been bowing down to and getting on board with. It's fucking weird. So she's pushing this narrative about who she really is and who she wants you to think she is. And at the same time telling, don't tell anybody I told you. It's a big old secret, you know? Acting like, don't tell Becca I told you, when she is Becca. And then she goes on and on about bullshit, her life. Then she starts, and I appreciate you keeping those convos private. Thanks, Shena. I really respect you. Look, Bree doesn't need Becca's grace. The information that we found was on paper. You can't change that. Personally, I don't fuck with Becca because I don't care. But your friend is a racist and a homophobe. Oh, calling Becca a racist and a homophobe right to her face. I bet she didn't like that. Oh, your little campaign didn't work, huh? Becca's best friend since high school. Why is she so worried about what Bree is saying about her? Exactly, Becca. Do you not see how clearly transparent and stupid you're being? Your whole, I'm Becca's best friend since high school. Why would Becca's best friend since high school have Shena's contact information and be out campaigning for you? You talk about low IQ. I mean, the lowest IQ. Straight up, the lowest IQ. The information that we found was on paper. You can't change that. Personally, I don't fuck with Becca because I don't care about Becca. But your friend, Becca, is a racist and a homophobe. Why is she so worried about what Bree is saying about her? None of this makes sense to me. She's catching on. None of it does make sense. Why would a best friend of Becca's reach out to Shena through this account? I mean, why would Becca feel the need to explain herself in such depth? Shena's catching on. Shena's catching on, Becca. Uh-oh, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Choo, choo, choo. The math doesn't add up here. Busted! Becca was very upset about how people handled Bree's arrest, and she just goes on and on and on and lies and lies and lies, covering up more lies with more lies, like she does. That's what Becca does. She lies to everyone and anyone, and she doesn't care. She has zero respect for anybody. So she lies to you, her audience, her little truth trainers. She lies to you, her little truth train passengers. And then when you call her out because something doesn't seem right, then she doubles down, trying to cover it up with another lie. That's her gig. She cannot be an honest person. If it were to save her own life, she would die. If they're like, just be honest and come clean, she would die. Right there, she would drop dead because she can't do it. She refuses. She thinks she has all the answers on how to be the best content creator. Bitch, you have less than 50,000 subscribers. I know it says 50,000 on your profile, but guess what? I'm also a content creator, so I can see your real stats. You have less than 48,000 subscribers. So I don't know what kind of code crap you got going on to get it to say 50K, but you don't have 50K. You have less than 48,000, which I know is like close, but I'm just saying she wants to have 50,000 so badly. There's no possible way with all this shit coming out, especially after this video drops, that you're going to have 50,000. And the fact that you think you are so high and mighty with 50 fucking thousand? Bitch! Do you know who Charlie Moist Critical Penguin Zero? Do you know who that is? Yeah. Go see how many subs that motherfucker has. Do you know that he's gained like 7 million in the past few months? And he doesn't buy them, I promise you. Not like you did. Trust me. I can guarantee you he doesn't. He's an honest person with integrity. But your little 50,000 ain't shit, bitch. So shut your fucking mouth. You don't know what you're doing. You're a bad person. Go away. Bye. But maybe you're judging someone on a few comments taken so out of context. Oh, no, they're not. They're basing it off fact and truth. So anyway, Becca goes on and on and on and on and on for pages and pages and pages, lying, pretending she's someone else, trying to defend Becca, which Shena's already caught on and called you out on it. And she's quadrupling down on this lie, which is so dumb, which tells me she's on drugs or she's trashed. She is not in the right state of mind. There is something affecting her brain function. She is either on drugs or she is either on alcohol. And I'm purely speculating, but there's no way that a normal, sane, human, sober person would do this. There's no possible way unless you literally have 0 brain cells, which is very possible. Because I'll take 0 brain cells over anything for 100, Alex. Because 0 brain cells would explain so much. 0 brain cells would explain why you don't know how to get your own FOIA records. 0 brain cells would explain why you don't know how to tell the truth. 0 brain cells would explain how you don't know how to make your own content and you only steal it from others. And 0 brain cells would tell me you don't know how to act right. So at least there'd be an excuse. But I don't think 0 brain cells is going to get you the fucking glamour and the glory that you want, bitch. I fucking hate Becca Scoops, man. She is sick. And I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. I don't even like that word. But she is so gross. Ugh. And I love me. And I can read vibes and I can read body language and I can see, I just feel the vibe. I mean, it's what blows my mind about how she kept this audience retained for so long. It only took me 2 seconds of watching one of her videos for the very first time to know something's not right with her. She's fucked up in the head. And then after watching several different live streams of hers, it was so easy to see what the problem was. I mean, it's not like she's gorgeous. And she's got y'all hypnotized just by, you're not even paying attention to what she's saying because she's sitting out there with her titties out and she's drop dead gorgeous. No, she's hardly, she got a face for radio, bitch. So close your eyes and listen. You can hear the bullshit. I mean, it's like, just figure it out. Anyway, she goes on and on and on. Oh, here we go. I don't need you to admit Becca has been lied on, which she has. And I know you don't care about her, but with her reach, she could have mocked Brie badly and got kudos for it. So now she's trying to say Becca could have been a bad guy, but she chose the high road. Instead, she went against those like Audrey. And Audrey hates Becca. Why? Why not? Because Becca won't do what Audrey does. Right. Like actually do research and obtain FOIAs on her own and like sit and do hard work and then, put information together and come out with like tons and tons of content that actually gives people new information that they don't know and sits on live stream and has pleasant conversations with people. Yeah, you're right. She's not going to be like Becca. No one's going to be like you, bitch. I don't know who you think you are. Who do you think you are? Seriously, I'm not just asking rhetorically. Who do you think you are? Because according to you, your behavior, your content, and your resume, you ain't shit. Period. You ain't shit. So stop trying to pretend you are. I know I ain't shit, but at least I know I'm a good person. I'm not up here trying to be anything. I'm just here. And if people want to join me, cool. They're going to get an honest, fun, positive experience, hopefully. Sometimes I cry, but I'm crying because I'm sensitive. But it's always going to be real. And I'm never going to be any different than I am on screen than I am off screen, ever. Might just not look as cute. Anyway, Audrey hates Becca. Why? Because, well, why not? Because Becca won't do what Audrey does. When Becca heard Audrey was FOIA-ing Bree's arrest, etc., she was appalled. But she showed it on her channel, didn't she?
Bree was arrested. She was arrested. She also spoke on it. She actually went on Gypsy's channel and did kind of a long diatribe about it. So I do have some things to say about this.
Let's say Becca spoke about Bree, because if she totally ignored it, then she gets accused of working for the Blanchards. She did not do so in an unkind way. Regardless, Becca is trying. So people see right through you, Becca, because people were wondering why you weren't snarking on Bree as much as you could have. But that's because you've been going behind the scenes, being in contact with Shena, pretending you're Sugawoo, pretending you're Becca's best friend since high school. And in order to save that sock puppeting routine, you couldn't fully snark on Bree. So then people started seeing right through. It's like, don't you get it? Don't you get it, Becca? Hey, it's so much easier just to be a good person. Don't you think? I bet you don't. Bet you don't. Anyway, it goes on and on. This group is mad. Blah. I don't even know what that says. She's so drunk she can't even spell anything. Blank of Audrey and Into the Weeds. They have their minions who are now out to prove Dee Dee was this saint. Oh. Let's read that again. To all the people in the back of my fucking comments who want to talk shit to me about how I said I didn't think Dee Dee was a good person. And that's my right and my opinion. And I don't think she was a great mom. I didn't mean to say she's not a good person. I don't know her. But she was a horrible mother. And if she was a good person, she wouldn't have done all of those things to Gypsy. Like, can you imagine a regular, good, actual person allowing, let's just say it was all Gypsy's idea. Let's just say it was all Gypsy's idea and Gypsy didn't need any fucking medical attention and Gypsy didn't need the wheelchair. Could you imagine? Which Gypsy didn't need the fucking wheelchair. We've seen her walking since the day, from the minute she stabbed her mom to death, she's walked. Y'all keep pushing this whole, but she has a micro deletion and she has weakness and she needs the wheelchair. Is she in a fucking wheelchair? No! She don't need the wheelchair. She never needed a wheelchair. If you were a mother and you knew your child could walk and she knew she could walk and you never were like, you don't need to be in this wheelchair. What? You wouldn't want your child to be the best that they could be? Yeah, okay. Some people need procedures done because they have some things wrong with them. I get that. Cool. You got a lazy eye? We can fix it with surgery. Cool. But then you also want to motivate them and encourage them to be the best version of themselves you can be. You don't try to hold them down and make them lie to cover up your lies for your fucking grifting that you're doing while you're conniving and taking over and getting money from all of these companies. She wasn't a good person. She wasn't a good person. Period. Gypsy should be in prison. Period. But here's your savior, your Lord and Savior right here. And so she gets attacked by you guys, not so much anymore, and now attacked by the haters. This group is mad, made up of Audrey and Into the Weeds. They have their minions who are out to prove Dee Dee was this saint. Which means Becca thinks Dee Dee was not a good person, and she's said it on her fucking videos. I've put it in my video. She clearly said Dee Dee was disturbed, and you all need to know that. She said it with her own words, and y'all are so stupid you can't hear it. I don't get it. It's right there, right in front of your fucking face. Gypsy had cancer is Audrey's latest thing. Becca says, nope, that's ludicrous. I don't think that Gypsy had cancer, nor did Dee Dee. Audrey is performing for the sheeple. She actually wrote sheepgle, who do not think for themselves. All they want is Gypsy to have orchestrated everything. So now she's also kind of on Gypsy's side, right? Don't worry, this rant I'm going on will be very significant at the end of this video, so stay tuned and you'll see why. One example is Audrey now claiming also that it was Gypsy who lied to the Olay Foundation that she was 12 when she was 16, and this got her Child of the Year award. It's preposterous, but she didn't spell it right. I'm just saying it correctly. Look, Audrey is going hard on this cancer thing. Becca and her researcher, Keekins, are behind the scenes doing a timeline. But if we had some help, we might be able to totally discredit Audrey, who is just gross. Why is Audrey gross? Because she has an opinion? Now I see where you guys get it from. All you little stragglers who fell off the truth train and when it derailed and you decided to meander your way over to my channel and leave your fucking hate, bullshit, stupid ass comments in my comment section, lying about me, lying on me, saying I feel one way when I don't feel that way. Now I see where you get it from. You got it from your mommy Becca. That's where you get it from. I already knew that though. I can tell who's a fucking truth train derailed straggler over in my comment section because y'all don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Anyone who is still on Becca's side is a fucking closed-minded idiot and has zero common sense. I said it. Clip it, snap it, fucking rub it down. I don't give a fuck. It's true. It's true. I hope y'all's eyes open, and I won't judge you when they're open and you come over and you apologize. But until then, until Becca has 0 subs, I will be completely convinced that there are tons of people, there are at least 48,000 people walking around this earth who are narrow-minded, low IQ people with 0 brain cells and 0 common sense. Audrey, who is just gross, all she is doing is pandering to the low IQ folks or the new folks. And if she succeeds, there will be no one saying common sense things. Like who? You? At least Becca has never denied abuse at some level. She does have that essay info from a real source who lived it. It would be easy for... or who are we talking to now? She's so inebriated, I'm assuming. She's either on drugs or she's inebriated. Does she not remember that source is the person who she's talking to? Good Lord. It would be easy for Becca to get on that bandwagon and tell these sheeple that what they want to hear. Yep, it would be so easy, and easy money too. But she won't do it. We know Bree or Gypsy has the medical records. We also just found out Greene County seized over 200 pages too. These would be different than what Fancy had, so we are waiting for those. But if we could ask some questions about certain dates, we might be able to prove Gypsy never had cancer. And this would discredit Audrey. Becca and Mitch just discredited Audrey's theory about Dee Dee driving Gypsy to some homeless shelter. So they are trying to stick to the facts. Let me know if you have any thoughts on this or advice. Look, I don't give in to the masses or what people think of me. I say what I want to say, and I don't care who it makes mad or who doesn't like it. That's right. You have to have thick skin on this app, and I would have given Becca more credit for that. What is it that you're wanting to know? And I will see if I can find out. Well, she's already hinted at it a few times. She wants those fucking medical records. She wants all the details. She wants all the glory and the credit. She wants you all to die is what she wants to happen. She wishes every other content creator who even mentions Gypsy's names would just die. That would make her so happy. I'm surprised she hasn't gotten her little mobsters from her mafia together and just taken everybody out. Okay, so in December, they're talking... Oh, okay, so when Into the Weeds posted all of those FOIAs and it was really big, that was December. And so that's when all this shit was going on. But then January comes around. Well, now, too bad, so sad, Becca. You're not the fucking one who had all the shit. So now she's like, now I need more. So then it starts in January. So that's when the whole Bree thing, Bree got arrested on, what was it? Aurora's birthday. So it was the end of December. And then it was like around Christmas. And so now, because that's happened, now that's going on. So this is January. And then February, she's, talking in third person like an idiot. And then here we are in March 27th. So that's a month ago. Wait, April, May. So 3 months ago. Hey, you should know Becca has many months of Discord messages, audio, etc. So now it sounds like she's trying to bargain. Sounds like she's trying to, hey, I got this if you want to trade me. Like fucking Shena doesn't know all the inside scoop anyway. She's decided only to post stuff if it pertains to GRB, nothing else. She has tons of stuff about Bree's arrest. I bet she fucking doesn't. I bet she's just saying that. Right? Who wants to guess? Me. In fact, she is done now. Whoever her mole was is no longer in there. Becca could have publicly outed stuff. She chose not to because she's just so kind and just such the better person, right? Nothing more at this point will come out. As far as it being a private Discord, all it is a chat room with many people in it, as you know. That's old people talking for you. She chose to only use audio visuals as any other reporter would do covering a public figure. Audio visuals. Audio visuals? Okay. You don't have to give her your kudos, but she does have standards. I disagree with my whole fucking chest. I disagree because I feel like it's disgusting to put out anything from a private Discord. I appreciate your message. Well, Shena, are we friends? Did we just become best friends? I think we did. Shena, there was way more embarrassing things, noteworthy things to put out. Any other real journalist would use it as a source in covering a public figure. By the way, since you mention doing disgusting things, here is why Becca never revealed everything about her kids and ex-husband. Wow. Since you brought up disgusting things, I'm going to show you how disgusting I can really be. Since you mentioned doing disgusting things, here's why Becca never revealed everything about her kids and ex-husband. The night he was killed, the sheriff's department... Okay, so now Becca's going to go on and on and on about her mob ex-husband, which no one asked. She is clearly intoxicated, clearly inebriated, clearly on some sort of drugs or alcohol or both. I'm assuming she is smoking crack and snorkeling down inside a fucking gigantic box of wine at this point. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. It's literally, look at all these pages. Look at, it just goes on and on and on. And Shena, as most of these people you will see, responded like a normal person. I really don't want to discuss anyone's children. That was such a long time ago that I don't even remember what was said. You're welcome. Bree found proof on everything she said, but again, I don't want to discuss someone's children. If I remember correctly, Becca brought her kids up. Oh, so she's calling Becca out to her best friend, which is Becca. And then, so that was April 2nd that she said, you know, bitch, you can keep trying to push this whole narrative about Becca, but like Bree has the proof. Period. You're not going to change our minds. You're a fucking retard. And then, so recently, this is the best part. This is when the train's going 300 miles an hour down the tracks thinking that they're on the right track. And then all of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of cattle sitting on the tracks. And they can't stop. Their brakes are out. And she says, hey, Shena, how are you? And Shena says, I'm great. Thanks for asking. I have a question for you, though. Becca, I just found out that this is actually you. Why couldn't you just tell me? Skrrr! Oh, the fucking brakes aren't working! The brakes aren't working! Ah! And then the truth train derails. And all these cattle go flying everywhere. Morbid goes on alive and exposes it all. And it's so fun. And there she is. Oh, what happened? What happened? Uh-oh. What happened? Case is back there as Elmo. What happened? Oh, she's asking Case to help her out with all the froggies. I didn't even know those were frogs. I thought they were bags of money. What happened? Boy, they made her look good in that picture. She wishes she looks like that. Where's Al Capone? Al Capone's not going to save you now. The motherfucker died of a genital disease back in the day. Right? Something like that. Tuberculosis from getting fucking gonorrhea or something. Gross. That's your idol. You know who I got up here? E40, J. Cole, Kanye West. These are some of my, not only just my favorite artists, but Kanye West is arguably one of the best hip-hop music producers of all time. J. Cole is one of my favorite hip hop artists, and E40 is just a legend. She has Al Capone framed behind her in her studio. The best thing, most positive thing Al Capone's ever done is donated some money to a soup kitchen, which was probably just a front for something. The worst thing he did was the Valentine's Day Massacre, where he lured members of another gang, a rival gang, to a warehouse and lined them up against a wall and shot them all to death. 7 of them. That's all he's known for. But she has that dude framed behind her, hanging up as her only decoration in her office. She's not related to him. I promise you, I've done a fucking deep dive on her. She is not related to Al Capone. Uh-oh. Keekins is ready. Keekins is ready. Toddie. Morbid. Keegan said, I got rid of your account, bitch. No one fucking hacked into your shit. I got rid of your shit. Keegan said, fuck this channel. Keegan's knows what you're up to. That's why when you said, oh, my channel was all gone. Yeah, and then you was like, Keegan's walked all over the keyboards. Yeah, well, Keegan's was tired of your shit too. Everyone's tired of your shit. Keegan said, bitch, I'm trying to change your password so you can't ever get back on social media. You deserve that shit. That's what Keegan said. Now we're getting into the main controversy. And the first person we need to talk about is Toddie. Toddie wasn't some longtime Becca supporter begging to be involved in all of this mess. From what these screenshots show, Toddie was on her own channel talking about Case. And that's where Annie comes in. Annie sends an email to Toddie. The contact with Toddie starts around Case, and Case is a huge part of this story. I don't know why Becca was so invested in defending him, protecting him, explaining him, or running interference for him. I don't know anything about Case, his history covering Gypsy Rose Blanchard, why he's in this community, or his relationship with Becca. But it seems strange to me how hard Becca defends him and how far she reaches to campaign for him. If I had to guess, and this is just my intuition, I'm purely speculating, but if I had to guess, it's because Case may be her only source for outside information, possibly even information directly connected to Gypsy or the Blanchards. That would give her access to material that no one else has. Something she could use to make videos or share with her audience as if she's the one with the exclusive information. It's sad that Becca would rather choose to be evil, scandalous, and manipulative instead of putting in the effort herself. She would rather steal other content creators' hard work and present it as her own, taking all the credit, rather than actually doing the research herself and creating something on her own, and it's just disturbing for obvious reasons. But based on these emails, she clearly cared enough about Case to seek Toddie out and start trying to influence what Toddie thought. And this is where I actually feel really bad for Toddie, because I don't even understand how a person could spend that much time focusing on such negative rhetoric. And the fact that she has the audacity to think that someone would want to bear the weight of all of that information is disgusting. And I feel bad for Toddie because it appears as though Toddie actually reads all of these messages, because she responds at the end of them as though she has read it, and it just makes me feel so bad for her. And I also have so much respect for Toddie, because not only does she sit and read every word of these emails, and just for clarity, just so you understand, just the email that Becca sent as Annie to Toddie alone, just the morbid one, had over 3,200 words in it. And that was just one of several emails that Becca was sending to Toddie as Annie. Toddie always responded with a very short, normal response, and she would always stand her ground, stand 10 toes in her morals and ethics, and not being swayed. And that's why I have so much respect for Toddie, because she doesn't let Becca sway her. She doesn't let Becca change her mind or control her narrative or change the way she thinks about things. She stands her ground, and she responds very politely to all of this nasty bullshit that Becca is texting her. And she just always thanks her for the email, thanks her for the information, but will politely disagree. And you'll see in the emails that I read. But I just wanted to say that, because when I was making this video and reading these emails, like, I honestly haven't even read a lot of them. So some of them are going to be like a cold reading for the first time, and some of them I've already read. I definitely haven't read every single word, but I've read some things. I definitely wouldn't have read all of these emails myself. I would have opened up one and seen all of those words, and just my ADHD brain would have been like, fuck you. And mostly because it's all creator drama, shit talking, accusations, back and forth, and
No one deserves to bear the weight of all of that negativity. And the fact that Becca has the audacity to A, talk about people the way she does, but B, put all of that weight onto somebody else and try to convince them to think that way as well is fucking disgusting. I'm just going to say it. It's fucking gross. And I don't know who Case is. I'll give you my honest opinion of him from the few minutes that I've been able to bear listening to him in his live streams. He is a person who covers Gypsy Rose. He's a male person in this community. I don't know why he's in this community, to be honest. It's very odd to see a man in the Gypsy Rose community. Like, Morbid's a man, but he's like a man. And Case is like, he's lost. The best way I can describe Case from my very first impressions of him, he doesn't stand ground in anything. He doesn't have a perspective. He's weak. He's a weak person who is like a floating ping pong ball, and he just bounces off of the closest person to him, or whoever's in his live chat, or whoever's the closest person to him at the moment. He just bounces off of them. He doesn't actually have any morals or ethics or anything like that. He doesn't even have one consistent frame of mind. He's a weak-minded person, and he doesn't stand 10 toes down on anything. He literally just says what he thinks other people want to hear who are near him at that moment. And I honestly do not know why Becca Scoops is on his nutsack so hard. But if you look at the people who she subscribes to on YouTube, for instance, she subscribes to barely anyone, especially respectable people who cover Gypsy Rose. Like, she doesn't subscribe to like Morgan Elena or anything like that. No, she subscribes to 45 different Case channels. Like, apparently Case has had several different YouTube channels, and she subscribes to all of them. She also subscribes to Audacious Audrey, which I find very interesting because she hates her and she talks mad shit about her. And then she subscribes to like a whole bunch of political channels, which I'm not surprised because she is a politician. But it's very odd. But my best guess, like I said, is I think Case somehow has doxed the Blanchards and manipulated his way into that family. And so by Becca using him as her source to potentially get information straight from the Blanchard's mouth or Gypsy's mouth, she clings onto that relationship with Case. Now, whether or not I have Case pegged as a person or whether or not I have their relationship pegged, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Everything I just said is all alleged and is purely speculation, but it's just my intuition and it's just my impression. I could be completely wrong. They could be cousins for all I know. I don't fucking know. But that's just how I see him and how I see the reason why, I don't know, why Becca licks his butt crack, to be honest. She does. It's very odd. I don't usually have an opinion about anybody. Like, I look at everything pretty neutral and I really just don't give two craps about most stuff. But when I do have an opinion about someone, it's because they read very easily to me. And with Case, I don't know who he is or why he's even in the Gypsy Rose space. I feel like he needs to go find another hobby because he's really just making himself look bad. And a lot of his live streams, he's just talking about how people have done him wrong. But I find it so interesting because these people aren't doing those things to you unless you're doing something to them first. I can only imagine. So anyway, that's just me guessing and speculating without knowing anything about these people. But that's how I see Case. He has no sack. He doesn't have a nut sack, probably because it's in Becca Scoops' mouth. I don't know. I think Case's nut sack is in Becca Scoops' mouth, and that's why he doesn't stand on any solid ground. He's not a solid human being. He's a weak person, and he creates negative drama. He attracts negative drama. He has apparently people doing bad things to him, which tells me he does bad things to people because that's called karma. So that's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. I don't care. I'm just guessing. Okay? I'm a pretty good guesser, but I am just guessing. Okay, so now we're into Annie. So Annie, who is, Rebecca Ann, but there's also been some people trying to say that perhaps Annie is also not just Becca, but Barbara Ann from Straight Out of Context. I think that's what it is, or Out of Context. I don't know. I don't really watch that chick's channel. I don't know. It's like a little intense for me. Like, to each their own, whatever. I don't watch her content, but I think Straight Out of Context is her channel. And Barbara Ann is her name. Becca Scoops is Rebecca Ann. So now it's this year, May 5th, 2026. And like I said before, I feel bad for Toddie that she was burdened with all this bullshit. I mean, I don't feel bad that she got duped by Becca because,
whatever. Everyone learns lessons in time, but thank God she's seen the light, I think. I don't know. I have a feeling that she kind of has a soft spot in her heart for Becca still, but I'm just guessing. That's pure speculation. But reading these emails that Annie has sent to Toddie has really shown me what kind of a person Toddie is, which is a very grounded, kind person with a lot of integrity and morals and values, and I have so much respect for her. I give her so much credit for putting up with this. I feel bad that she had to bear the weight of all of this negativity, but it wasn't my doing. This is all Becca. And so I'm not going to bother reading most of this, especially this first part. This first part is literally 3,268 words of her talking shit about Sir Morbid X, who is quite literally one of the most well-known Gypsy Rose content creators. He makes great content. I know I've made a video about him, but that was actually, I wasn't trying to make a video about him. I didn't seek him out. I was making a video about Becca. I was basically making a content creators are hypocrites video. I only found out those things that are at the end of the video, like about, you know, all the allegations, which is what, this is exactly what Becca's talking about right now. All the things that I posted in that video that I have about, you know, it's my second community video, are things that Becca's trying to show Toddie here. She's really pushing it. But I mean, I didn't make any allegations about Morbid. I just played the videos that I found, and then I played that conversation between Morbid and Audrey, but all of that stuff is in the past. And the content that Morbid makes, he used to make these really short videos about Gypsy that were hilarious. He would make these funny little pictures of her, you know, like cut and paste, but his comedy about it was so refreshing, and I really liked his comedy. I think he's brilliant. There's something about his mind. I really like the way it works. And then when I watched The Grift Train, that was the first video that he came back with when he started talking about Gypsy again. I think it's because he had gathered information that he was going to start finally releasing all of this stuff about Becca, and that was his way of breaking us in. And Morbid can talk about anything, and no one ever knows what his motive is. He does it on purpose. It's a very smart tactic, and I like that he keeps everybody guessing. It's like chess moves. Morbid is always a few moves ahead of everybody, and I like that. Everything he was saying is exactly the way that I had been feeling for a long time. It's like, I tried to do the Justice for Dee Dee thing, and it's not going to happen, and he's so right. He speaks his mind, and it's the truth. Like I've said before, if you're a person who gets mad at the truth, that's a you problem. I don't have a problem with the truth. And I bought a whole bunch of merch from the Sir Morbid X website. And I guess it's just something he does for all of his customers. You get a receipt as an email, and then in the receipt email is a voice message from him. And it's the kindest, most genuine message. And it really changed my whole perspective on Morbid. I truly like Morbid a lot. I think he's a good guy. I would be his friend in real life. Plus, we're both from Orange County. Well, I mean, I don't know if he's from Orange County, but I am. And we both have the same area code in our phone number, so he couldn't be too far. If I had to guess, he lives in Irvine, but I'm just being racist when I say that. I wonder if he does. I'm not trying to dox him. I'm just saying I'm being racist if I say I think he lives in Irvine. Only he's gonna know what that means. I hope he laughs. Anyway, she spends 3,268 words trying to convince Toddie that Morbid is a piece of shit, okay? She sends links with verified sources, unlike she does on her own channel. So I'm not going to read any of that because it's all everything I just explained to you, but she really goes in on him. She calls him a pedophile. She calls him a rapist. She calls him a child raper. Like, it's wild. So then this is Toddie's response, and this is why I have so much respect for Toddie. Toddie says, I'm familiar with the accusations that were made about him. I am familiar with those. However, they've all been debunked. There's never been a criminal charge against him. There was bad jokes, so I don't know his past as far as being there. I've seen things, and then I've seen edited things, so I don't know what's real or what's not real. What I do know is that there's no criminal charges against him, and that is the facts. That is straight to the point, and that is the truth. And that's exactly how I see it. It's hella old. And then Becca as Annie. Who would bring the criminal charges? These kids were on the internet, and no one knew they were. Blah, 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 blah. She keeps trying to push it. So this is 2024, okay? This is how Becca and Toddie started interacting, I think, okay? So March 16th, 2024, Rebecca, which is her maiden name, I think. Dear Toddie, you have me laughing. I'm going to assume you are around the same age. That reference to the Gypsy Rose song, great song, gets stuck in my head every time I see anything about GRB. Anyway, my partner and I are starting a channel. I am a retired psych RN and he's a veteran detective, 20 years. Our first video is on, you guessed it, GRB. I just wanted to drop a note to say, I really enjoy what you're doing. I'm going to be in your live tomorrow. Good luck. I know you'll be great. And then now she's trying to promote her channel, which used to be called apparently Desolation True Crime. And then she slowly starts getting into the whole gossiping about the Blanchards, Nina, the beauty influencer, who's also Flawless Nina. In case I know her as Flawless Nina. I don't know when she changed it to Nina, the beauty influencer, but before I ever started covering Gypsy, and like I used to be on TikTok all the time, I remember seeing Conspiracy and Flawless Nina. Those were the two that I saw cover Gypsy Rose the most. They had the most Gypsy Rose content out there that I remember. So she starts in, she's warming Toddie up for the gossip train. And then Toddie says, I think I just subscribed to your channel. Hey there, March 28th. Heads up, love them. Wanted to give you a heads up. We are in the final phases of editing our video on Gypsy Rose. We are able to speak with law enforcement, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so she's trying to get Toddie to promote her shit. And Toddie falls for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Toddie goes gung-ho for Becca, okay? And this part made me laugh so hard. She's like, since it seems we're both kind of new to doing this, I wanted to show you this website which helped me build killer thumbnails. It's called Canva. That's such an old-ass lady's thing to say. That's like going, I found this new way to search for things. It's called Google. You just go on, you just type Google, and then you fucking find stuff for you. It's crazy. I thought, what a fucking old hag. It's called Canva. Like, bitch, that shit's been around forever. And then she starts saying, if you need help, I can guide you, blah, 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 blah. So she's like, she's really trying to get in her good graces so that Toddie starts really pushing Becca, right? And I'm assuming this is when Toddie just gets all googly eyes for dipshit Becca.
Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddie One Skip. I am Toddie One Skip and you are not. How you doing? I wanted to end this late night by telling you Becca Scoops exposed. Becca Scoops no longer avatar for the face. We get to see what she really looks like. I've seen what she looks like. I knew what she looked like a while ago. I've done FaceTime with her when I'm walking my dog. Becca Scoops! Guys, Becca is screaming from the rooftops, Gypsy Rose is a fraud! Mainstream media! Check this story out again. And let's get it right this time. Way to go, Becca Scoops! Proud to call her my friend.
Oh, and she's playing the sympathy card at the end. Wait a sec, are you Italian? I am. I'm related to Al Capone. I'm just kidding, it doesn't say that. I've watched you enough to know I trust you. I'm hoping to keep my real identity secret on YouTube, but I wanted to share it with you. My first husband was killed in the line of duty by a gang member who now sits on death row. My son followed in his footsteps. Here's the video. What, your son's on death row? And then Toddie's being sincere. Wow, I'm so sorry, Becca. Congrats to your son. I'm not Italian, but my stepmom was and her whole family. Love to see your video. I subbed to you, but there isn't any content. There still isn't. We decided just to rename the channel instead of starting a new one. Much easier. My partner is my husband, blah, blah, blah. Then she goes off with all of her whole life story, like Toddie asked, which she didn't. She tells Toddie that Mitch loves Toddie's content and he is tough to please. He says that it's because you're so real. I bet he's starving for reality. He's starving for someone to be authentic. He's like, I have to be around this fake ass bitch all day long. Yes, Toddie, please. He just sits there and jerks off to Toddie all day long because she's real. He's like, fuck, I gotta get it somewhere. And she's just going off. Then she apologizes for the short email burst, but I don't think she's really sorry because she doesn't ever stop. And then she keeps going on and on. It's like she really just wants someone to actually discuss the case with. But if your husband is a fucking detective, you would think he would be so fun to sit and have these conversations with, you know, in bed or just over whatever, sitting there watching Netflix or something. You know what I mean? It's like half of it says she's desperate for a friend because she most likely has zero friends. You cannot have friends and be this kind of a disturbed person. There's no way. There's no way you can be this inauthentic, this much of a liar, a gossiper, a shit talker. All these things that we're seeing in, you know, her true colors. You cannot be that way and then have any friends. I honestly don't know how Mitch, what that deal, I just don't get it. It makes me feel like Mitch is a half-wit too. I don't know. Mitch is very kind though. I'm not trying to talk shit on Mitch, okay? Mitch is innocent. Mitch didn't do anything wrong. I'd rather watch Mitch all day long than watch Becca make one more fucking appearance on anything with her face, voice, or commentary, period. So then Becca bombards Toddie with a shitload of fucking emails, and then Toddie works a full-time job. She's like, "Hi, Rebecca, I'm reading your emails. Thank you so much. I'm at work right now. I'm trying to put some videos out there. So no, I don't work from home. I actually work about 48 hours a week, but I'm going to be off for the next week. But I got 1 million things to do, and I'm going somewhere. I'm going to reread all of these emails." Poor thing. Like they're important. I think that's a fascinating story and heartbreaking story as well. And like poor Toddie's just being so sincere and so genuine. And Becca is just like this. I'm getting her. Oh, I found one. I wonder how many people she sent that whole same spiel to, waiting for someone as genuine and as kind and authentic as Toddie to fucking take her bait and act like her and just... And you know what's sad is Toddie probably still, I don't know, Toddie probably gives her a little bit of leeway. I don't know Toddie. I don't think it would take much for Becca to say to Toddie for Toddie to forgive her. You know, I think Toddie's just a very down-to-earth, forgiving person. If I had to guess, I don't know, Toddie. I'm sorry if that's not you. I'm just guessing from what I've seen on her, you know, I'm basing most of it off of her responses that she's giving to Becca in these, because this shit is wild. But there is one email that she responds to, and it's my favorite response that Toddie gives her, because Becca gets worse and worse and worse. She's completely out of her mind, and she just goes on and on and on. But Toddie's trying to respectfully be like, "Hey, I don't have time to read all these, but I promise I will. I work 48 hours a week. I'm not as lucky as you where I get to stay at home and yada yada. Hope you have a very happy Easter. I promise I'll read these emails," you know, but she's like, "I will read them." You know what I mean? There's no reason why Becca should be emailing somebody that much. It's disgusting. Okay, so then these are recent emails. Toddie knows this is Becca, okay? I don't understand this whole thing, okay? Because look at gmail.com in 2024 says that it's Rebecca Dunn, okay? Gmail.com in 2026 says that it's Annie. But Becca, who's already emailed her 2 years ago, and she probably either didn't save the emails because she doesn't give two shits about Toddie and doesn't care, or she's so dumb. I don't know why she would do this, but now she's using the same email address. She probably has done this so many times. If I had to guess, she's done it so many times that she doesn't even remember. It's just like the thing with liars. You know, it's hard to keep up on your lies. You know what I mean? Unless you're going to be a real organized OCD liar with records and notes and files and everything, you're going to suck. Because lying this much couldn't be easy to keep up with. So 2 years later, she's using the same email address, but saying her name is Annie. And according to what Toddie said on one of Morbid's live streams, she really thought this was Annie, apparently. I mean, I don't know, but that's what she says. So here's Becca using the same email address that she's corresponded with, blatantly being Becca, to Toddie. Now she's saying she's Annie. Toddie, longtime viewer, supporter of your channel. I'm hoping to make it clear how this feud isn't a winnable battle and it's based on many misunderstandings. Now, this is where she's going off about Case. I don't know why she has Case's nuts in her mouth, but she just does. As a matter of fact, when I was making this video, I actually was going to clip some older things that I've heard Case say to help you guys understand where I get why I think Case is the way he is, but he deletes all of his content. So if you listen to his most recent content, which is all you have because it's all he has up there, and you listen to the way Case talks, his cadence, if you listen to the way he says certain phrases, it makes me feel like Case and Becca talk a lot. I think Becca and Case talk on the phone or have conversations. Somehow they verbally speak to each other because they speak very similarly. To me, it seems like Becca's actually picked up Case's cadence and she's using that cadence in her videos because you can see she kind of shifts around sometimes her cadence. It's very interesting. And that's just something I picked up from, just listening to them. So anyway, This is, I didn't count the words on this, on these emails, but this is March 13th of 2026, okay? And Becca is pretending to be Annie using an email address that she's used already with Toddie. I don't understand how that wasn't noticed. I don't know. If someone were to email me, that's emailed me in 2010, it would pop up with their name on it. So it goes on, and she's, for some reason, got Case's nuts in her mouth, and she is going hard because apparently Toddie made a video about Case. I don't know the drama, but that's the deal. So this is her. It's going on and on and on and on, and she's doxing him. She's very adamant that Case isn't this person, that Case is up. She's talking shit about Peachy. Peachy is highly problematic and is a shit stirrer and not a great researcher. All she did was find articles about Kim Fowley. What does Fowley have to do with this? Per reporting Real Research, Fowley, who died in 2015, has been accused of sexual assault in the past. The group's bassist, Jackie Fox, alleged in blah, blah, blah. So I have seen on Reddit, Case is very problematic. He does things to make people not like him, and people take it out on him in the worst kinds of ways. And so I can only imagine what he's actually doing to other people to make people treat him this way, because people don't just treat people like that for no reason at all. But apparently Case is married to a woman who used to be married to a bass player for some famous band, and that bass player has been either locked up for child abuse or sexual abuse or something like that. I don't know. There's some egregious allegations or egregious charges that he's been committed, crimes he's been committed of. And so because Case pissed somebody off, somebody pulled out this information and decided to make it public, and Toddie was exposing it. And Becca was not happy about that. So then, of course, in Becca's style, she's talking shit about everybody else in the world. Becca just talks shit about everybody. If you're not Becca, she's talking shit about you. I can guarantee you she talks shit about Toddie when she's not talking to Toddie. I guarantee you, Becca talks shit about everybody. Becca and Gypsy Rose. They're two peas in a pod. And then she says, look, Toddie, I'm not a supporter of Case. He's a whiny baby. And he has to clap back every time. I get it. You state you didn't watch Jesse on Chris Hansen. What? Toddie, this Jesse person is scary. Case poked the wrong person, and she is truly crazy. Not me, okay? I don't know who this person is. Case did not make hundreds of videos about her at all. Okay, so for someone who she thinks is a whiny baby and she's not a supporter of all, I find that interesting because this is, what did we say? March 13th of 2026, so April, May, June, that's about 2 months ago. And since then, I have seen Becca's subscription list of the people she subscribes to on YouTube. Anybody can do it. You just go to her bio and go down and you can see everyone she subscribes to. And she literally subscribes to 14 different channels that are Cases. And that's about it. And then a couple political channels and then Audrey. That's it. So, I mean, we already know she's full of shit, but it's like... I think because Becca doesn't do any of her own research, she forgets that other people are perfectly capable of doing research, and they will. I mean, if you're in a position where you're getting called out and people want to find out the truth, they're going to do their hardest to find it and call you out and have receipts, okay? Case didn't make hundreds of videos about her at all, but she made 20 to 30 videos about him almost daily. Now, for someone who isn't a supporter of somebody, that's kind of strange because I couldn't even tell you how many videos people have of channels I am a supporter of. So you're a psycho. What is wrong with you? It's just weird. She swatted his house. Case, I mean, look at her. She's got fucking numbered bullet points. Number 5, Case accused you of giving this Jesse person his info. Like, who made Becca Case's nutsack? Becca is, she doesn't have Case's nutsack. Becca is Case's nutsack. Becca holds Case's nuts in her body. She turns into just like a big old flap of skin. And then inside is, that's why Becca's so stupid. Because she doesn't have a brain. Those are Case's nuts in her head. That's why. Okay, I just figured it out. I got it. Okay. That makes sense. Anyway, she goes on and on and on and on and on. She also starts defending herself again in the third person because she's pretending to be Annie. And she starts going in on how people think Becca's not a racist. And then she starts talking shit about Nina. Because you like Nina and couldn't believe she was so unhinged and shallow. Again, talking shit about Nina, calling her unhinged and shallow. This is the person who allegedly sent over her entire audience to Becca to promote her and is allegedly the reason why Becca got so big. Now, I'm not going to argue with that because as far as Gypsy Rose content, the only people that I knew of in the whole world, and I watch YouTube constantly. Before I started covering the case, I didn't follow any Gypsy Rose content. It would happen to be sprinkled in here and there. I subscribed to Kyla on YouTube, and because she covered all kinds of hot topics, but Gypsy Rose, poor girl, I would watch her. She really had Gypsy's back. She really had high hopes for Gypsy, and I would just sit there and go, oh, girl. I'm glad that she, she finally saw the light, but I watched Kyla for all of her content, and she covered Gypsy extensively. So I always knew about what was going on with Gypsy because of Kyla. Then when I was on TikTok, Conspiracy and Flawless Nina were constantly popping up, even though I never ever looked for Gypsy Rose content on my own. They would just pop up in my feed. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I have a legitimate algorithm on TikTok. I don't go on there really anymore. But the only people I'd ever see covered Gypsy Rose were Flawless Nina, Conspiracy, and Kyla. That was it. So I believe it when Nina says that she did send over her audience. And then you got Becca here, not only just not ever giving anyone credit, but not only is she not giving anyone credit, but then she's going and talking shit about these people. It's sick. So anyway, we're on point 7 now. What is this saying? Case couldn't let it go. Now, I don't know what info you gave Jessie, if anything, but for a time you were believing her lies. And Toddie, she lied to you all along. Oh, well, you know what? Guess who else lied to everyone all along? Okay, I guess that's it. So here we go. So this bitch, March 16th, 2026. Toddie, please apologize as you have not proven Case is truthy. You have stated, she probably meant to say stated. You have stated numerous times he is, but all you have is voice recordings. You made a grave error. All she has is voice recordings? Well, what do you think, they're AI? You made a grave error. You can say, I believe he is, but I promised you all I could prove it, and I could not. What? She's trashed. This Peach person is gross. Your video making allegations Aaron is someone Case endorsed has nothing to do with Truthy. And still, where did Case say this? I'm sure he did, but just show the receipts. Case's wife estate is no moneymaker, as Peach asserts. Now it's been sued, and even before. See, why does she care? Why does she care if Case's estate has been sued? Who cares? That's not your business. And why are you verbally assaulting Toddie over it? I told you I am no fan of Case. I'm just sitting here defending him until the cows come home, acting like I'm his fucking attorney and his mother. Maybe Becca's Case's mom. Is that what it is? You need to just apologize. Not to Case, but to your audience. Bad behavior, Toddie. Others' bad behavior doesn't excuse you. There's everyone that I know thinks needs to apologize on her own channel and sincerely explain all of this behavior that you have been proven that I'm sure you will deny. I'm sure you will say that they were made up. Someone cropped those. Those weren't from me. That was from my assistant. I let somebody else use my email account. That wasn't my account anymore. Oh, that could be faked. Anyone could fake that. Oh, they just used Canva and they made it on there. I showed them how to do it. But there's an audience out there. I think they're part of this thing called the truth train. And I think that they deserve an explanation at the very least. An apology would probably be something you wouldn't even do turned over in your grave. And to be honest, I wouldn't listen to your explanation on your own channel if someone paid me, because it would be so full of shit. I would probably throw up on my desk, and I don't want to ruin my keyboard. And then Toddie responds to all of this disgusting, bombarding, psychological, verbal, mental abuse, this email abuse, by saying my favorite thing so far. Toddie says, I'm going to ask you to please leave me alone now, because you and I aren't going to agree on this, and we're only going to argue. I'm not gonna argue. And if I had to guess, Becca is like, la 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 la, because she doesn't give a shit what anyone wants. So you can see how the Annie Toddie emails starts with case, and then it turns into other creators, and then it turns into who's wrong, who's lying, who's suspicious, who's attacking, who's a problem, and who shouldn't be trusted. And those are all Annie's words, Becca's words. And Toddie is just sitting there receiving all of this. But this is the part I respect about Toddie. From the screenshots I saw, she didn't take the bait. She didn't jump into the mess. She didn't turn around and start doing Becca's bidding, and she didn't let herself get dragged into Becca's shenanigans. Toddie responded politely, thanked her for the information, but she also made it clear she didn't agree and wasn't going to participate in something she didn't think was right. And I just want to commend her for that so much. I have the chills. Toddie's short response politely thanking Annie/Becca, but disagreeing or refusing to participate. That's exactly how you respond when someone is trying to pull you into drama. Toddie read the nonsense, responded like an adult, and basically said, I hear you, but I'm not doing this. And that matters because Toddie wasn't being messy. Toddie was being pulled into a mess. And this is where Annie becomes a real problem. The emails are coming from Annie, but Annie doesn't sound like some random viewer who just happens to support Becca. Annie sounds like someone who knows what Becca is thinking, what Becca is worried about, who Becca is mad at, and what Becca wants Toddie to believe. That's why people started asking the obvious question. Annie, are you okay? No. Who is Annie? And we all know Annie is Becca. If Annie is just some random helper, why does she sound so personally invested in Becca's version of events? Why is she emailing Toddie about Case? Why is she talking about other creators? Why is she pushing Becca's side so hard? And why does so much of this sound like Becca's own thoughts being sent through another name? This is why the Annie situation matters. Not just because people want to know if Annie is Becca, but because Annie was being used to move information behind the scenes. Annie was contacting Toddie, defending Case, talking about other creators and pushing a version of events that benefited Becca. And Toddie, who didn't ask for any of this, is being put in the middle of it. And that's wrong. And it shows how much of this so-called truth train wasn't really about the truth. Because if this was about the truth, then why are we emailing people walls of drama about creators? Why are we trying to influence Toddie's opinion about Case? Why are we slamming other people behind the scenes? Why are we using another name to do it? That's not truth. That's managing a narrative, or trying to. And Toddie didn't seem interested in being recruited into Becca's mess. She stayed polite, but she wasn't buying everything being sold to her. A lot of people would have taken those emails and felt special, like, oh wow, Becca's people are contacting me. I must be important. I must know something now. Toddie didn't react like that. She basically said, thank you for the information, but I don't agree with you and I'm not participating in this. And that's the part people need to pay attention to. While Becca was presenting herself as the conductor of the truth train, someone using the name Annie was behind the scenes trying to steer Toddie into Becca's version of the story, and Toddie didn't get on board. She read the mess, responded respectfully, and refused to carry it. So when people ask why the Annie emails matter, this is why. They show that this wasn't just videos and research. This was people being contacted, influenced, told who to trust, told who not to trust, and pulled into creator drama that had nothing to do with the actual case. And all of that was happening while Becca's public image was still truth, records, sources, and research. That's a problem. Because if Annie is Becca, that's insane. And if Annie isn't Becca, it's still a problem because someone connected to Becca was emailing Toddie, defending Case, trashing creators, and trying to shape the way Toddie saw the situation. Either way, Toddie was being handled. And from what I can see, Toddie handled it better than most people would have. So thanks to Morbid, by the way, for exposing the proof, getting the evidence out there. I just want to say thank you to Shena. Thank you to Toddie for releasing this. I have a feeling it was hard for Toddie to do this. I'm sure no one wants to admit that they were duped, but I mean, if it were me, I would be making it rain with this evidence. I wouldn't feel stupid at all. I would be like, because Toddie and Shena, you aren't stupid. It's not you. It's Becca. And I don't have a very big channel. I don't have a very big platform. And so I don't know how many of her audience members this is going to reach. But I'm hoping that it at least gets to the ears and to the conscience of most of her audience. And I hope that people can see that through all of my bad mouthing and all of my shit talking towards Becca, that I'm not doing this because I'm a hateful, spiteful, jealous bitch. I'm doing this because what I noticed in Becca many months ago has finally been validated by proof. So you thought I was a hater and I was jealous before when I tried to tell you I wasn't. You know, I'll never stop saying this. I don't come on here and just talk out of my ass. If I say something and I'm wrong, I will admit it. But when I come on here, I'm usually coming on here because I'm telling you something that I firmly believe. I'm not going to just come out here and just tell you shit just to hear myself talk or so that I have content for you. That'll never be me. That's Becca and then some. Don't worry, I still have my announcement. So hang on.
You know what?
The chat would like to know why you think of all of us as low IQ.
When did I say that?
You said that in emails.
No, I did not. That low IQ statement is about this.
We all seen it, Becca. Like this.
Right. That was in response to these idiots emailed me saying you were saying XYZ, and I went and looked at it, listened to it, and these idiots. Those are the idiots. I am not going to address this again because here's what's going to happen. This is going to be made into videos now. I don't want to do this anymore. Am I a great person? No. I should have just stayed the fuck out of it. I wasn't silent because I didn't want to defend myself. It was because this would be really bad for me overall. It would extend this whole issue. It would.
You wasn't silent though, Becca. You went to other creators' platforms to give your statements.
What statement?
Everybody here was promoting your stuff, and you know, myself included. If you want to understand it, go watch Becca Scoops. Like, her videos are really good at putting it together, and it's just so disappointing to see. And I think ownership would have been amazing straight away because it gives credit to thinking people are stupid.
I know, and it's, you know, at some point I'll be able to talk a little bit more about it, but you know, right now I don't know what else to say. You know, I wanted to help other people, and then it turned bad. It just.
But can you see that it only seems like you were helping yourself?
I don't, you know, Jessica, I don't know. Maybe I need to put out all my information, everything that I
think you should, because I don't understand.
You should, yeah.
How are you trying to
guys, I gotta go. I'm sorry. I really have to go, but I appreciate you guys listening to me, and thank you very much. Okay, thanks.
Yep. I'll have my eyes peeled for further updates.
I will not have my eyes peeled. You can't come up here and do this shit. Can't expect not to get attacked. She did this to herself. Come up here and answer questions. Instead, she talked to us like we're all fucking stupid. She sat up here and gaslit us and talked to us like we were fucking kindergartners.
I don't take accountability for any of her actions. Becca's.
I don't give a fuck if she apologized. She's still a piece of shit person. She still doxed and looked into people. She's still a snake. And everything she said up here, she just treated us like we're fucking, like she thinks we are. We're all stupid and beneath her, and I cannot, like.
Yeah, like.
I can't.
I was gonna say, come on, Becca. Like, I couldn't even get a word in.
So, there's a clear pattern of vague sourcing and heavy authority framing in Becca's public content. There are screenshots that appear to show Becca sock puppeting as Annie and talking about herself in the third person, defending Becca, discussing Becca's strategy, and targeting or discrediting other creators. Becca's response does not fully deny hidden contact. It reframes it as a tactic used to obtain information. The messages shown so far appear to go beyond accessing medical records and into reputation control. So this is not just about Becca getting caught saying something mean behind the scenes. This is about a creator who built trust by saying she had better sources, better research, and better judgment than everyone else. And now the receipts appear to show a private side that doesn't match the public brand. Becca hasn't come out to her audience and explained any of this or talked about it. She's gone on other people's channels and platforms and given excuses and lies, but she's never taken accountability. Becca's defense appears to be she wanted missing medical records when it comes to Shena, so she used a tactic, a buffer. She sock puppeted, which in some cases and some situations is illegal and can get her channel permanently terminated. But that defense doesn't clean up the mess. It just confirms that Becca was lying to Shena and contacting her with malicious intent. Even if her motive really was records, that doesn't answer why the messages also include creator trash talk, discrediting language, and narrative shaping. Her defense is this was about the records. The receipts say this was also about manipulating people, and it proves that Becca uses betrayal and lies to try and control people and gather information for her own personal benefit. Becca is still sock puppeting, and Annie is the messiest part. What I can say is that Annie is now part of the evidence pile, and the identity question matters because these accounts were being used to shape conversations behind the scenes. Her live response on Keisha's live sounds like damage control, not clean accountability. She says she wanted to help people. She says she wasn't silent because she didn't want to defend herself, but because it would be really bad for her. And that matters because it sounds like she understood the receipts were damaging. And instead of giving a clean timeline, she gives motive. Motive isn't proof. Motive doesn't erase conduct. So to Becca, I have a message for you. You need to stop mistaking control for truth. If people are coming forward with proof, if multiple people are saying the same kind of things, if there is a pattern of deception, stolen work, intimidation, narrative control, and private cruelty behind a public image, and the longer you avoid it, the more damage you do. You may have built an audience that trusts you. You may know how to speak in a way that makes people believe you. You may know exactly which words trigger their loyalty, their protectiveness, their anger at your critics. But using that loyalty as a shield does not make you innocent. It makes the harm worse. Your audience is not a weapon, and your popularity is not proof of your integrity. If you have lied, say you lied. If you have manipulated the story behind the scenes, admit that too. Stop feeding your audience partial truths. Stop framing every person with evidence as bitter, jealous, unstable, or malicious. That's not self-defense. And if you've hurt people privately while performing kindness publicly, then you owe more than a vague apology. You owe honesty without theatrics and accountability without self-pity. You're tired. Don't cry to your audience while skipping over what you actually did. Don't say, I'm not perfect. Hey guys. As if imperfection is the same thing as a pattern of harm. Everyone is imperfect. Not everyone lies, steals, deceives, and then sends their audience after the people who speak up. You have a choice now. You can keep controlling the narrative until the only people left are the ones willing to believe anything you say, or you can do the harder thing and stop performing accountability and actually practice it. Your audience may protect you for a while. They may call everyone else liars. They may drown out the proof. They may keep your numbers up. But none of that changes what is true. And somewhere under all the strategy, defensiveness, and image control, you know that. So stop hiding behind the people who trust you. Tell the truth. Give credit where credit is due. Correct the lies you let spread and accept that some people will leave and that they have every right to. It's the cost of finally becoming honest. And to her audience, I know this community means something to you. I know it's probably given you comfort, entertainment, friendships, routine, maybe even a sense of belonging when you needed one. If someone outside this community did the same exact things, would I defend them this hard? If another creator lied, stole work, controlled information, smeared people behind the scenes, ignored accountability, and trained their audience to see every critic as an enemy, would you call that leadership? A healthy community doesn't need you to hate outsiders. A trustworthy creator doesn't need you to attack people asking fair questions. Someone with integrity gives credit, owns mistakes, answers concerns, and doesn't punish people for telling the truth. You're allowed to say, I enjoyed some of this, but I can't keep supporting what I now see. And you're allowed to have been wrong. That doesn't make you bad. It makes you someone who trusted, cared, and wanted to believe the best. The real test of character is not whether you were fooled. The test is what you do once the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. A creator who benefits from your loyalty while avoiding accountability isn't your friend. Becca may have made you feel seen, but if she doesn't know you and she doesn't protect you from being misled and she uses your trust as a shield against accountability, then the relationship isn't equal. You're giving her loyalty. What's she giving you back besides content and a story that she controls? You don't owe her your reputation, your silence, your denial. You don't owe her attacks on other people. There's a difference between grace and enabling. Enabling is dangerous, not just for the people hurt by Becca, but for you. Because the longer you stay in a place where the truth is treated as betrayal, the harder it becomes to trust your own judgment. So just step back and stop defending her for a week. Stop consuming her explanations. Ask yourself, what would you believe if you didn't already love Becca? And pay attention to what happens inside of you. If you feel guilt, fear, or the urge to run back and prove loyalty, that's important because healthy communities don't make independence feel dangerous. You can leave quietly. You can grieve it. You can miss parts of it. You can still admit that you enjoyed her content back in the old days. At some point, you have to choose between protecting Becca's image and protecting your own integrity. Choose your integrity, please. Please. You're allowed to walk away now. But who am I? Who am I to tell anyone what to do? I'm just here to present the evidence, tell the story, show the proof, and now, like Becca says, you decide. And now I have a very specific message. Recently, I posted a video where all I did was tell you guys that I watched a Lifetime docuseries about Gypsy Rose and that I had a different perspective on things. It didn't change how I felt about anything at all. I just told you guys how I feel. Maybe it was the first time you ever heard it, but it's no different than I have felt this entire time, which is Dee Dee wasn't that great of a person, she was a horrible mother, and Gypsy should be in prison, period. I'm allowed to have a fucking opinion. And I don't have to hate Gypsy and think she should die or whatever you guys think. And I don't have to praise Dee Dee and think she was an angel. I don't. And I'm not going to. If you want to unsubscribe to me because I have thoughts, fine. Because let me remind everybody that there is not one single person in the entire universe. I'm talking not one individual, not a movie channel, not a television series, no HBO, no Lifetime, not even another YouTube content creator, not a soul on this earth in existence of all time since human beings have existed that has ever made a documentary, a film just about Dee Dee Blanchard's life without mentioning the crime that Gypsy Rose committed, without bringing the crime in and talking about Dee Dee's death, except for one, and that's me. I am the only person on planet Earth. Go ahead, get your little phones out. Get them out. Get them out and start Googling. Go ahead and start searching into the YouTube search bar. Go ahead. There's not even a book written about Dee Dee Blanchard's life, which made it very difficult to make anything about Dee Dee that you find online or anywhere in the world is only associated with the crime that Gypsy committed. It's the biggest video on my channel. It has almost 100,000 views. I am a very small person, but it's the biggest video on my channel. Good luck finding another documentary that's just about Dee Dee Blanchard and her life. Hope you find a book to go with it too. You won't. I'm the only one. And you know why I originally made that documentary? I'll tell you why. It's because when I used to sit in Becca's lives, not as a fan, trust me, I used to sit and take notes about how her audience was reacting to her newfound gossipy bullshit Ryan Anderson, Justice for Ryan Anderson content that she's been writing for weeks now. And I sat in her live. This specific live was the one she did where she had Katie Cakes on. But I like to sit there and read. I'm gauging how disturbed her actual audience is, because it fascinates me how people can watch Becca Scoops and not see right through her. It truly fascinates me. So I like to sit in her lives and just read. I don't give a shit what Becca's talking about because I know she's not talking about anything real or anything important. So I sit there and I just read every single comment, and I will watch one person after another speak their mind in a very neutral, pleasant way, not harassing, not saying anything mean. They'll say it once. And this live with Katie Cakes, for instance, several people started speaking up and going, I don't understand. How is this justice for Dee Dee? Valid question. How is it justice for Dee Dee, Becca? Because that's all you seem to be about. People are used to your educational content. People are used to coming here for breakdowns of the documents and breakdowns of case files. No one wants to listen to you gossip about Ryan Anderson's ex-girlfriend. Who gives a fuck about Ryan Anderson? No one. No one. Nobody. I've never seen one Ryan Anderson TikTok ever. I've never chosen to watch his shit. I wouldn't. It doesn't matter in the scheme of anything. It matters none. And so people in your chat, kind supporters of you, your own supporters, are just kind of one after another going like, how's this justice for Dee Dee? And then I would watch your psycho cult member moderators and then some people who aren't even moderators attack those people and say, well, if you don't like it, why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? It's like, whoa, I'm sorry.
all they were doing was asking, how is this justice for Dee? And then they would get attacked. And then you watch those same people who are just wondering, how is this justice for Dee? Like, why does this matter? Anyone who said anything about anything that wasn't just rooting for the bullshit that was going on screen was getting attacked by other people in the chat that weren't moderators. They didn't even need to get attacked in the first place. Then they would get blocked or muted. And I just watched it one after another, and it was disgusting. And I thought, okay, people really do just want justice for Dee Dee. That's all they want. They don't care about Katie fucking Cakes and Ryan Anderson's fat ass. They want justice for Dee Dee. Okay. Well, these people don't seem to like me because I'm not Becca Scoops, but I'm going to give them what they want. Since that's what they want, it was like I felt like I needed to stand up for the underdog. I just watched these kind people who support Becca just tell her that they want justice for Dee Dee. And I watched them get berated, talked shit to, shut down, muted, and blocked. And I thought, well, I'm going to make something for them. If you guys want justice for Dee Dee, I'm going to make something for you. And I did. I made a beautiful film that I wish could have been longer, but there just wasn't that much out there, you know? I've since found other pictures. I wish I had more pictures to even use in it because I kept having to like kind of recycle the pictures over and over. And I felt I hated that part, you know, like I'm really picky and kind of a perfectionist. And so I hated that I kept having to use the same images of her over and over again. But I thought I did a really good job. I worked really, really hard on the script, making it as beautiful as I possibly could. I made all the music for it. All the music. I make all the music for all of my videos. But that's why I did it. I did it for all of those people in that live that were getting shut down and talked shit to. All this drama, dude, it blows my mind. And I like the gossip just like the next girl. You know, gossip is one thing. That's why I watch, you know, The Viewer's Voice and Dustin Daily and Nick. That's why I watch channels like that, because I like a little gossip. That's why I watch Kyla. I like a little gossip. I don't sit in live chat rooms on panels with psycho fucking paths and discuss harming human beings. That is, I can't even put that into words how disgusting that is. And that's y'all's Lord and Savior. I gotta go.
What about Jesse?
What about Jesse?
Stop playing around with her.
Yeah, what about Jesse, man?
I'm back at Jesse. Everybody's got their money on Jesse.
Everybody go sub to Jess, man. Get her popping.